You're tuned in to KOOL Radio, your number one station for the truth about what's happening in the way out wasteland. But enough of my spouting. Let's warm up with some new hot licks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Saturday here on Pod by Night, or maybe I should say Pod by Cast, because we have expanded our branding. We are more than just Pod by Night now. We are doing all kinds of things. So you are joining us for our Pod by Live show, where we play games live instead of on a podcast. That's literally, that's the only difference. Right now we are running Fallout Winter of Adam, a campaign for the Fallout RPG by Modifius. We've been out for a couple weeks. We're excited to have Bub back with us.
Yay!
If nothing else, y'all have 4 action points again.
Yay!
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 Everyone else just.
Yeah, and
like
so,
action points.
I will say that I can happily say that a few of us met this morning to be, deep dive into the new vampire shows. So for those of you that have been waiting patiently, know that our planning is happening. We've been releasing some teasery type stuff to our Patreon and over on the Discord. So if you are not a part of those, you're gonna want to get on that, because it's pretty cool. We put together. Sorry, I was like, my brain was like, which buttons do you push? Don't push the wrong button, Dot. I pushed the right buttons. It's going to be pretty cool because we've started to release mood boards. We've got character art in the works, but we haven't revealed who's playing what. So we're telling you about the characters, but we've not told you what cast member is playing what character yet. So if you want to get over there, join the Patreon. You get 48-hour early access to those things. If you can't join the Patreon, that's fine. Come join us in Discord. It's free. You can meet other people that are just as hyped. There are some theories. People got theories. And then if you want to give a little extra to the lovely faces you see on the screen right here, you can tip us, and it's going to fill a bar. And when that bar fills, so far we've not filled a bar in which I've had to drop an excessive amount of bad Fallout consequences. Extreme radiation, big bad monsters. We haven't even seen a Deathclaw yet. These things you can make happen in reality, in our Fallout reality, by filling that bar. So... And just know all of that, including your tips, your bits, and your subscriptions, are going to help pay this cast. So we really always appreciate it. I'm sure Bub does, because he's in a swanky new house.
Hey,
Hey.
it's a place. We're getting there. It's got walls and floors and ceilings, I guess. So yeah,
Yay.
we'll see how this turns out.
This is a start. And thanks. Yeah, today I got my nerdy glasses on. I'm very much in grumpy aunt mode today. Like I even got my auntie sweater on. I got my oversized glasses. I'm here to buy banned books and give them to our nieces and nephews, which you should be doing, by the way, especially if you're in the United States. All right, there's my political stance for the day. All right, everybody, let's jump back in. I think a recap is in order, mostly because Bub missed 2 episodes. And I think it's actually kind of funny that he's not going to know what's going on because he was in shutdown mode. So without going too far back to episode 8, our crew did return from the events under the sewers of Diamond City. Giant mega bombs and all. And Big Business was pretty hurt. They were under pretty heavy...
Emotionally and physically.
Yeah. After everything that went down. But praise be, while they were fighting some children of Adam in the sewers, they did have some Minutemen who stepped in. The same Minutemen who were answering the flare call that all of you were waiting on back at the Minutemen encampment next to USS Germination. Look at that. Storytelling at its finest. So paths cross, and they helped escort you all back, knowing that Big Business was pretty heavily injured. When they got to the camp, what they found was the same woman who had the person you had tied up, and Mason, who was out of service at the moment. A couple of roles revealed that maybe he was in some kind of boot up, reset, or update, which seemed rather odd. You all did, commune on the idea that it seemed odd because he's not usually a Mr. Handy unit updates when they go back to like one of their base stands, right? He was updating out in the middle of nowhere.
Hit a hot spot.
And a hot spot. Yeah, he just and something a patch came through, and so he went into a full reboot. He's kind of having a moment, and you all decided that maybe you were under staffed to say go and raid the USS Germination, and that you should maybe scout the issue before you just decide to attack it, which you sent Sister Delilah, knowing she was a Children of Adam and might be able to get away with some shenanigans, and she fucking did. She did. She learned some really important information, which is that the USS Germination is being protected by a group of Children of Adam that were just camping up the beach. It was night, and they decided to kill them all in their sleep. And the ones they didn't kill in their sleep, they released a yogai bear to do it for them. True story, bub. True story.
Oh, damn.
The good news is when they got back, or they succeeded, everybody died. They took somebody named Scrapjaw's jaw, literal metal jaw on this dude, and kind of figured out that these Children of Adam were a little bit more suited for battle. They didn't look like just people that like prey. They weren't wearing robes. They were wearing armor and had guns and all kinds of stuff. And Scrapjaw had a very impressive weapon, which I believe Sister Delilah ended up with because it's an energy weapon, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
All right. Yeah, and here at night, you finish clearing out the camp. The bear is gone. It runs off, carrying away one of them, still screaming into the night. You raid the place, and y'all basically have headed back down the beach towards the encampment. When you get back, Haley is asleep, kind of sitting upright by the fire. The guy who you have tied up is still passed out, and Mason is awake. Now, did I miss anything we want to remember from player perspectives that we forgot? If not, then we're going to go to, oh fuck, Mason's awake.
I think we started hatching the plan for how we're going to raid the ship. And what I had written down is that originally, this is probably what we're going to discuss, that Big Business and Captain Haley would be a distraction for the enemies on the ship while the rest of the crew climbs onto the boat from the far side.
From the back
just
side,
to
yep.
Put us in a frame of mind.
Yep. I think actually, here, let me do this. Looking at our lovely map and this really well done boat here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? As a reminder, y'all basically, the shore side edge is all like ice frozen beach. The water's edge on this side does have a slight like wave that froze it into place, which is one of the reasons why it hasn't been able to like escape yet or break through. It's literally trapped on the shoreline. So the backside is easier to climb. So yeah, distraction. That's right. That's a good. That's a good recap. Yeah, distraction, come up the other side. Anybody else have anything important? Cool. Then we'll roll right in. As you and it's dead of night. The only thing that you can see is the, like, coals of the fire that Haley has let go out after she fell asleep watching camp. And as all of you walk up, Mason, you see your friends. To you, this is probably the same day. Actually, 48 hours have passed. You've been in reboot for 24, but you don't necessarily know that. You expect that they're just coming back from where they said they were going, which is to answer a courier's letter to help Diamond City.
Okay. So for me, it's just like a blink, right? Blink of an eye kind of thing.
Except for what happened while you were rebooting.
What, could you describe it to Mason?
Mm-hmm. Usually, Mason, when you reboot, it's a lights on, lights off, lights on, right? It is just that, a blink of an eye. But you have these almost like ghost memories. I don't know a better way to kind of describe that. This feeling, this coding that's kind of written into you. It's new. It was part of the update. And all you can think about is your absolutely beautiful Protectron, what was her name?
Oh God.
Yeah, you dreamed of her.
Nuclea?
Nuclea, yes.
Oh my
Nuclea.
god.
You dreamed
Yeah,
of
Nuclea.
Nuclea, and you can still almost hear her voice in your mind's eyes, I guess, because you've got 3 of them. Where she, she keeps calling your name. She says to find me, and you have this innate feeling that maybe you would be able to do that, because as you all walk into camp, you hear a slight beep, 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 like a beacon. It's coming from Mason.
Oh.
It's really low. It's really faint.
Mason? You
If-
with us?
Just for correction here, Mason he's
Beeping.
alert.
He's alert. You're fully
He's
aware your
alert.
friends are back. You assume that they're coming back from whatever the courier sent them to do for Diamond City because you were kind of awake for that.
Okay.
That was the first episode you missed. You don't know that they're coming back from slaughtering people on the beach. That's all new. And you can see big business is injured. Everybody's taken like they've clearly been in combat.
My hat has a bunch of bullet holes in it. Or maybe it was acidified by the gigapede that we fought.
Yeah.
Okay.
His hat is basically like half the hat it once was. He has stain and acid kind of burn marks all over the clothing. And Sister Delilah is carrying a rather large rifle.
Okay.
And a staff.
Okay,
It's
so
like-
they look like they've been through some form of carnage.
Yes,
We're like,
correct. Yeah, they all look. The only person that might not surprise you, of course, would be Mortimer, but he still looks like he's been in whatever combat they've been in. He doesn't look maybe as traumatized. I don't know.
I've got some new armor.
Oh, that's right. You're coming back with new armor. That's right. He's suited in new armor. It's like they've gone for a whole month and come back like new people.
But it was just like a blink for him. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
and now you're beeping. Your butt is beeping.
all right. Then with surprise. So was I watching someone, or
So
was I just kind of left
you
here?
You were left at the camp to stay with
Was left at the
Haley
camp.
and to watch the guy, remember, that y'all had taken captive, who was
The
eating
crazy
people,
guy.
the crazy guy that was eating people, to watch him and to maintain camp in case the Minutemen, because remember y'all shot a flare to call for help,
Yeah.
in case they returned while they were away. So they had to leave somebody behind, and they'd left you behind to watch.
I think Mason would probably be very surprised that he went down then. I mean, this was like a surprise takeover update,
It
right?
absolutely was.
All right, so
Absolutely
then-
surprise.
Mason probably has some. Does Haley look fine? Is crazy guy still crazying?
Crazy guy's still bound. He's not like panting anymore. You can tell he's subdued into actual sleep at this point. And Haley
Okay.
dozed off watching because you went down. When they got back, Haley was like, I don't know. He just stopped like mid sentence, just went boo. So
All right, so
yeah.
24
We
hours
have
have passed. It's still nightfall, right?
It's night again. Yeah, exactly. 20. They left in the middle of the day, so a day and some change.
So Mason has no idea this even happened.
Mm-mm.
And there's other people in our camp too, right? 3 more.
Oh yeah, and there's 2 more. There's 3 new Minutemen. Yeah.
So I have medical officer Dave, and then science officer. We don't know their name.
Yeah, he didn't give
And
his name.
a radio technician.
Yeah, a radio tech. Those were the
And-
ones that answered the flare call that saved them in
Yeah.
the sewers.
Did they walk with you up to the camp, or have
Nope,
they been there
they
for a
have
little bit?
been there.
No, they
were.
no,
they were,
didn't they come with us?
Oh, you're right.
To-
You're
to
right.
raid the
did.
camp.
You're right.
Oh, yeah, they come.
They
it
came
was
with
the
you.
fight, yeah.
They came with you to fight, and so yes, they also come walking back up, looking rather battle worn. In fact, one of them looks really bad.
Okay.
He took
All right.
a lot of damage, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So then it's literally like the time span in Mason's mind is seconds have lapsed.
Seconds have lapsed, except for the period of time in which you can hear Nuka-Cola and see her calling your name, begging you to find her.
All right. Okay. Then Mason would probably turn, and much to his surprise, greet everyone.
That was rather quick. Hasty Good God, what happened to you? Each of you have seen combat carnage, has assessed your situation. But I see nothing here. And who are these 3 wayward brigands that follow you?
Mason, your butt is beeping.
I noticed that.
Boop.
I couldn't quite pinpoint. Haley still seems fine, and, well, the remotely mentally enraged individual has seemed to calm down. Why are you all so different? It's just been moments.
You've been out for a
Isn't
day.
it?
Impossible, I would know.
Haley's awake at this point. She says, "Oh, he's talking again. No, that's actually true. You were in the middle of telling me some story about follicular something, and you just went dead."
Oh, I was discussing my profession. This is perfect. I was really, I broke down.
Haley kind of looks over at the radio tech, right? Who is the one who kind of ran some diagnostics on you while you were out, because she doesn't know shit about computers. And this kind of scrawny kid, glasses, kind of walks up. He's carrying this huge radio backpack that's too big for him, and he says, actually, you seem to be in like a reboot mode. Maybe you were getting an update." He kind of even questions his own words as they come out of his mouth.
Well, now isn't this a peculiar development? I must say, I feel delightfully so, like an old jukebox that just had its needle replaced, ready to spin some fresh tunes in the wasteland.
Boop. Boop.
And I'll follow that metronome, wherever it leads me. Please, someone inspect my caboose. I'm uncertain as to why it's beeping.
The poor kid, Haley looks back at him again, and she kind of nods like, "That's your job." He kind of hesitantly walks over and begins looking at and rummaging amongst your caboose.
My dear friends, I can't quite put my fingers upon it. My claw, if you will, but something has shifted in my circuits. Everything seems sharper, smoother. Why, I dare say I feel as spry as the day I first rolled off the assembly line. Perhaps I've been treated to one of those elusive updates.
He kind of, you feel his hands kind of rummaging around, and he says, "Actually, nothing inside looks really different. My diagnostic," and you can see he's got like one of these weird handheld pieces of tech that he's plugged into your insides, and he says, "He's actually right. He did get a software update, but it's coming from a weird location. Like, there's no, I don't know where it came from." And he seems a little like kind of confused about it. Because it's not normal. He already kind of knew that, but oh yeah, he rolled a critical success. He says, "If I was to," and he hesitates. Like you can see, Mason can't see because he's facing the other way.
I can't see, I'm facing the other way.
He leans around Mason's bulbous body. He looks at all of you and he says, "If I was to take a guess, this might be like some encoded update from a different source. From what I can tell, it's definitely not your standard Mr. Handy update. It seems that they've put some kind of tracking beacon in him."
Oh.
A tracking beacon.
Yeah, but it's the other way around. Instead of somebody tracking him, it looks like it's like a well, it looks like it's gonna get louder the closer he gets to something. It's supposed to help him find it.
It's strange that you say that, because each beep reminds me of the sweet synchronicity, the sound of Nuclear. She hums in my circuits. My board brims and bristles. I ache for her.
And he unplugs and puts your hiney panel back in place.
Ooh, thank you.
Comes over to all of you so that maybe he can not say this very loud. And he leans into Haley and he says, I'm not going to claim this, but it gives me the feeling of, and she kind of gives him the eye like, and he mouths a word. Everybody that sees his mouth is welcome to roll for a perception of some kind, like a survival perception, maybe.
I think Mason's looking at the group. He's probably not looking at
Yeah,
Dan.
you're not looking. Yeah, he definitely doesn't want Mason to see this. It could be bad. It could be bad.
One success.
I got nothing.
One success is not bad. You want to roll, Sister Delilah? 2 successes! Sister Delilah, you not only see his mouth move, but you can hear just the air leave and say the word institute. Mortimer, you absolutely recognize the mouthing of the word institute.
Even if I did see it, I wouldn't know what that was.
Yeah, he basically says, from what I can tell, it's... And Haley goes, there's no fucking way.
Well, whatever the situation may be, I find myself brimming with vim and vigor, absolute veritable virtuosity. So, my compatriots, what is next on the agenda? A daring escapade, an architectural finesse shoot, perhaps a spot of post-apocalyptic coiffure.
Oh, I missed your long, weird speaking. It's
Haley
fun.
says, I did not, but here we are. So, how did it go? And she looks you all up and down and sees that one of her men is very injured. The doctor is already starting to fix him up and patch him up, but he's in really rough shape. And she says, so please tell me it went well.
Well, we're all back alive, so
I have a metal jaw now.
And she kind of was like, ew. It's probably like bloody at the hinges where it attached to his face and stuff. She says, so I suggest we get as much sleep as we can before the daylight hits us, and then we can maybe make a plan for this, and she looks over at the ship, this attack.
I would agree. Very tired after everything that happened, so some rest would be good.
Definitely.
Mason, you can see where you were like maybe prepping dinner 24 hours ago is still like sitting there. Because nobody moved it, and yeah.
It appears that I was preparing dinner. Forgive me. It's likely spoiled. Not that I think many of you would care.
I'll eat it.
I thought so. I'll continue.
You pick up probably like chopping and prepping exactly where you were 24 hours ago.
If only Grant were here, he could turn this into a delight.
Does nobody has any fatigue and no permanent radiation damage, right? They need to heal from. So if
I don't think so.
Mason fixes up what he can fix up. Again, resources are becoming more and more scarce the longer you stay here because you've not really had a supply. And these men were eating fucking purple fruit. Yeah, so you are able to get a good night's rest. So if anybody needs to down their fatigue, you're welcome to. The rest of you can heal your HP because you're going to sleep.
Great.
So you're good to go there as long as you're getting a full night's rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We could, I imagine that we would split a watch as long as we would all still get a full.
For sure. Haley's going to let everybody that's injured sleep first. She'll continue to keep watch. And there's another Minutemen that can probably, because there were 3 of them, 2 of them went with you, 1 of them stayed at camp, so 1 of them's not injured and can stay up with her. And then you've got the guy that's still recovering and trying to get his bearings. Yeah. And eventually the sun will rise. Mason, you stay up all night and you don't see heads or tails of any body, anything, but maybe it's the update, but your hearing has really increased. You seem more attuned. And you keep hearing your name kind of on the wind. Maybe it's in your mind's eye again, but her calling for you to find her. But amidst the dark late night whispers of Nuclea's voice in your mind, you also hear something from the ship. At first, it's really far away and you think it's just the groan of maybe a tree on the wind. But it happens occasionally throughout the night. The sound of a deep groan that grows from the barrel of a ship. And even as far as you are away, you can still hear it echo in the metal cold shell. Just as if something were growing or living, something unnatural is down there. And it just rings very lightly on the wind as far as you are, but it does occasionally carry. Everybody else sleeps through it, but because you don't have to sleep and you've just updated for 24 hours, you're able to kind of just pick up on this unnatural sound.
Nice. Nothing. I don't see anything coming out of it, though, right?
Mm-mm. In fact, the only light that pretty much stays on in the whole boat. I think I showed this last time and you weren't here, Mason. So let me give you a rough idea of the size of this ship. Okay, it's fucking huge. It's a massive trash freighter, or was. The boat looks really similar to this image here.
Okay.
And the except for the fact that all of the holes and stuff you see, those are all boarded and metaled up. Like this is a very light, like tight vessel because it was actually buoyant at one time. The back end does in fact have this upper story type thing, probably the bridge where they actually would have sailed the ship from, like actually the control room. Lights behind those windows stay on throughout the night, but nobody ever comes and goes from it.
just maintain my watch. If anything seems even remotely out of sorts,
Nope.
I'm gonna go. I'll go to big business first.
Yeah, nothing seems other than the weird sounds. And again, you're also hearing your name whispered. So what are you making up? What's actually there? But you never see anything come and go. It's actually really, really, really quiet. And a light snow kind of drizzles through the rest of the night. And as the sun starts to rise, you don't hear the groaning anymore. It goes absolutely silent.
Okay. Well, then, when it feels like it's a sufficient time to awake everybody, I'll probably let them sleep long, all things considering, especially since they came back really exhausted looking.
Yeah.
I'm going to try a different approach. I will awaken them to whatever sort of, remaining food supplies we might have. Instead of the voice, as it seems like not everybody is as happy about the strong welcome. He'll just start cooking, even if it's not very good at it.
Yeah, you just kind of start throwing some shit in a pot, doing
Yeah.
the best that you can. You learned a new recipe at McMinster. It's called Pew Stew.
Pew
It's
stew.
Literally made anything you can find. And you have literally the bottom of the burlap sack is the last of the vegetables and things that you pull out. And you can tell that this is the last meal y'all have probably enough real food for all of these people. And we'll need to find a source before nightfall if you're going to not start to go into fatigue. But you do the best that you can to have like a hot, liquid, soupy thing available when people wake up. Haley gets awake pretty early, and some of the Minutemen get together. And she goes, in fact, to the guy who's got the radio and seems to be having like a small conversation with him about like, because they did, while you were away, they did radio for more Minutemen support before.
I think it's super important, but for the sake of the experience with the update that I got at McMinster, can I have taken the time to actually purify the water that I intended to make the pew stew with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was one of your updates. One of your new perks for your level, everybody, which allows him to turn 2 dirty water into a single clean water. So it actually is clean water, and the vegetables aren't irradiated. So
Might be the best meal you get in a while.
Wow, yeah, it's the cleanest meal at least you get in a while. And yeah, Haley, her nose wakes her more than likely as she says, "Oh yes, okay. Well, I'm beginning to see why you're so useful." And just she kind of like probably puts a cup directly into it and drinks the soup because like who has a mess kit on them in the fucking apocalypse? So yeah, she's drinking out of whatever she can. But the rest of you can wake at, are you an early riser? Do you, do you need to be woken?
After last night, I think we'll try to sleep in as much as possible to rest before waking up. So may need to be arisen.
Arisen.
Yeah, I think Big Business is laying completely down and is snoring loudly using his Brahmin, his 2-headed cow, as a pillow.
I would say, Mason, you're not going to need to get him up or there's not going to be any soup left.
Oh no.
Minute, they greedy folk.
Then oh boy. I guess I will start by going to Mortimer first, as he seemed to be the least immediately damaged. And I mean, I could be absolutely wrong in assessment, but he didn't seem like the one that was like, sleep now.
No.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to
I was
Mortimer first.
injured, but I was mostly okay.
Do you come over with like a hot bowl of soup under the nose kind of a thing?
Yeah, I think I'm also going to approach it with his newfound ability to also communicate in whispers. You'll probably hear him.
Mortimer. Wake up, Blue Eyes. This is for
But
you.
very quickly, like, one eye snaps open.
He's still beeping.
Oh.
He may be whispering, but
Don't
his
mind if
body
I
is
do.
beeping.
I will happily take the soup.
Yep, it's warm, it's hot, it's good.
Want to wake the others? Oh, would you encourage me to do so? I'm afraid that, well, forgive me, but Sister Delilah, she might smash me into bits.
I can sort out waking them.
Thank you. Kind sir, scholar and a gentleman. I'll get their bowls.
I'll get to work waking the other two. with however much effort it needs.
Yeah, the cows will probably, the cows will wake first. You'll stir them, and then they'll be like, oh, okay. And you can feel their breathing change, big business, as Mortimer walks up to wake you. And Sister Delilah, the same thing. It's just a light, imagine gentle, nothing violent. Smell of soup is in the air, and there's a little bit of a bustle in camp as Haley's trying to wrangle the troops to get a better idea of, like, what we can actually do with the people that you have.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I suppose today's the day. Do we have our plans in order for what we're going to do?
Haley says, I
We'll
like
have-
this woman. Straight to business. Yes, what is our plan?
So we have our distraction to get their eyes focused on the shoreline, and then we're going to climb up from the water side using the frozen wave and attack the 4 guards on the deck who have guns, try and get them all taken out, and then we don't have to worry about anyone with guns, most likely.
Okay.
From there, we can work our way up to the bridge where our good Dr. Yarrow is and see what is the deal with him, because something has gone.
That's the first time
wrong.
you've heard that name, Mason. Dr. Yarrow. Now you know who was up all night upstairs with the lights on.
I think he files it away, but he's not really sure what to say about it yet. He's still kind of gathering the intel.
Mm-hmm.
Haley, when the people on the ship want to bring something up from the beach, how do they do it?
They have a large crane that swings over and picks you up. It's a makeshift elevator of some kind. But everybody that comes on board gets lowered below deck. And then, well, you know the rest.
Oh. So the crane picks you up, and then there's a hole in the ship, and it...
She says it looks like maybe an old loading dock of some kind. You can imagine that before the war, or before the bombs dropped, that it was the kind of thing where it would pick up large amounts of trash or large containers, and it would move it over the vessel, and they'd lower it into one of those, like, open container doors. That's probably what she's talking about. It lowers it below deck.
Okay. Well, are we going to go with the idea that we are delivering bodies to them?
She says, I'll be honest, it's going to be the easiest way to get on board.
Okay. Are they going to be weird because...
Yes.
Well, you went to the ship and you were on the ship, and then now you're not on the ship.
This is all a good point. I was thinking maybe I would not. Well, guess it would be a good reason for them to want me back on board. She kind of considers what the better option is, if showing her face is a good option or not.
Oh, I could, maybe we just pretend, okay, that I captured you or something.
Okay. She says that's not a bad idea, though she looks you up and down and she says they'll be very quickly have their attention. She says it's not a bad plan.
Yeah. Unless I do it as a child of Adam. But they did already see, one of them already saw me. Not sure if that...
But they liked you, right?
Mean.
Because you're nice?
They bought into the fact that I was part of that camp that we infiltrated. So that is a good thing we could leverage, perhaps.
You said something about, though, he said an alarm, so they would be confused if you came.
That's
again.
true. That might not be good. All right. So maybe, do we want to go with this whole plan of bringing the bodies, or do we just want to go around and
She looks that, y'all have kept the Minutemen bodies that were kind of consumed and eaten in the cold, so they're not really rotting. And there are more Children of Adam bodies. We could say you have brought 1 or 2 of them back if you thought you could carry them. But yeah, I mean, you do have bodies to offer, and she did say that's the biggest bargaining chip you have, because that's what they need for fertilizer.
I think maybe you all that are good at sneaking will go be good at sneaking. And I'll bring 2 bodies and the captain and just act all evil and merciless.
Merciless, yes.
Mhm.
She says, I'll stick with big business.
Okay.
And she looks at all of us and she says, unfortunately, the Minutemen have not answered our call, so we may have to do this alone.
All
That's
right.
fine. Oh, we have this now.
And I'll kind of push forward the 3 sets of climbing gear that we got from the Children of Adam.
So those of you that are going to climb the backside will take the climbing gear. Mason, you actually don't need climbing gear. You'll just booster thrust yourself up. Yeah, exactly. Up and over the edge. But yeah, Sister Delilah, Mortimer, you'll want climbing gear. One of them probably goes to the other Children of Adam. And she says, yeah, I think that's, oh, and my climbing gear. It's down by the ship. And she kind of looks at all of you and she says, so do we want to do this in daylight, or are we going to wait till nightfall?
Oh, didn't you talk about oh, right, that the people on the ship are more normal during the day, and then at night they
That is
get kind
correct.
of crazy?
Mason, you hear him say that. And she goes, yes, at night they are monstrous.
Hmm.
What does that mean when you say monstrous?
Yes, well, the crew of the USS Germination nests below deck. The farm above has extended its vines beyond just the top. They grow all throughout the ship, and underneath is a vast living ecosystem of fleshy vines. And the extended exposure to the purple fruit, flesh fruit, as they call it, has affected them. At night, they become more aggressive, more inhuman.
Reminds me of a short panel comic that I read in a previous newspaper in regards to werewolves.
I don't know anything about werewolves.
They were beastmen. At the sign of moonfall, they would rise and become these unnatural monsters.
Yes, it's similar to that. During the day, they function mostly normal, paying all the attention that they can to the plants. And then at night, they go below deck to ruminate in their living garden.
So maybe we do this during the day then.
She says, they won't be as violent, but they will be more alert.
Watches over this hive, if you will, this arbitrarium.
From what I have learned, it is a man named Dr.Yarrow. He was the leader of the Germination before they crashed here and was the one who created the seeds that grow the fruit that has done this to all of us. And she gestures to the 2 bodies of the Minutemen that died.
Perhaps it would be valuable to burn them out, then.
We want him. We need him.
She says,
Not him. The nest, if you will. The arboretum. The plant cycle. The vines.
Yes.
Perfect. My flame has been itching to claim.
She says, okay, so we're going to do this during the day. She says, I hope y'all are really sneaky. There's very little cover on that boat.
Well, it didn't work quite well for me the last time, but perhaps I will be better this time.
I can be sneaky.
Right. She looks at the 2. One of them's too injured to go with you. The science officer is going to stay here for now. He was the one that was injured, right? No, the science officer. No, the radio guy stayed behind. Yeah, so the doctor is okay. No, the doctor was the one that was injured. Sorry, I'm having to remember to 2 weeks ago. The doctor was the one that was injured. So the scientist will go with you. The doctor will stay here, and the radio guy is gonna also stay. So Haley's gonna go with big business, and the rest of you are going around back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
This will be very, very fun. I'm going to switch our maps over to this one. And I think it'll be more helpful in the grand scheme of actually doing the thing.
Business will, just so we make sure we know what we got, business will hang on to one of the 3 flashbangs that we got.
Smart.
And then hand the other 2 to Mortimer to figure out, if he wants to distribute any of them. And then we had 2 shotguns.
Yep.
And business is really good at close range, so he doesn't want either of those. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Any of the other stuff, you guys got the plasma rifle now.
Yep.
I'll take a shotgun.
Yeah, it might not hurt for something close quarters. Remember, you can search it in the compendium and just drag and drop it to your sheet, and it will load the gun up into your inventory and directly onto the weapons. All right, so let me give you a kind of a rough and dirty of what we're looking at here. All right, so all that you can see from the ground is really the tops of these like tree bush-like things that actually have the purple fruit on them. These are these 4 boxes here. These boxes range from probably like the small ones are like 3 by 3. There are 9 trees in this area, so you can see how big this actually is, right? And something like this, you may have more like 3 by 4, so you got 12 trees. So there's a lot of growth vegetation on the upper deck. Like there's a lot of space for it. That's really all it's used for. This back area back here, and I will do this for all of our dear folks at home also looking at this. Let me slide her over. This end down here is where you're going to get to, like, Yarrow's office, right? So this, like, U-shaped figure here on the aft end is levels. It's above where you are. This door right here, this square, is clearly where the crane connects to. This circle piece is the base of the crane, right? And this is where the crane drops things below, like Haley was telling you. Now, you know, Sister Delilah, because you scoped this last time, and based on Haley, there are always 4 people on the deck at any given time. So, oops. He's fucking huge. Let me just really downsize it because it's gonna be real tiny. I'm gonna have to get kind of close here, based on scale. So one of them is here. The other one stands here, and then you do technically, as Haley said, have 2 that watch out the opposite side. Now, your distraction hopefully will move them, I think is the goal. But those are the 4 kind of locations of your yeah.
Got it.
And then there's like a big flight of stairs that take you up to this upper deck where Yarrow is kind of holed and locked away. The front end is mostly farming gear, crates and barrels of water, gear. This is all storage, and there's like a lot of junk here at the front end. It's probably where they keep their rakes and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of what you're looking at. And you can, as y'all kind of get closer, you can see the 2 men facing shoreside as they watch out to everything. So that's basically the setup. So now the real question is, how would we like to go about doing this? And what I'm going to actually do to make this a smidge easier on all of us is I'm going to get rid of the ship at the top because it's actually really not a good representation, so it's gone. Okay. And actually, I'm going to put this on the map layer, too. I'm going to put all these on the map layer. Oops. All right, there you kind of have an idea, a rough idea of what we're kind of going for here. So why don't y'all go ahead and drag your tokens to the playboard, and then I'm going to need to size you all down.
Where are the tokens?
You'll have to drag them. So if you go find your character sheet, and then you, not the 3 lines, but you actually grab your name and drag it to the play area. Mason.
So that's the backside that they're putting themselves on?
That's the front side. That's shore side. The back side is actually the side closest to the image below.
Okay.
Yep. Perf. All right. So Sister Delilah, Mortimer. Yep. Big Business is going to be out front. And I'll give us, here's a Minuteman. This will be Haley. I know it doesn't look like a Minuteman, but so is Life. And she is sending one additional Minuteman with all of you. Their science officers coming with you. Cool. They're going to leave the radio guy behind in case there's trouble, and the guy that's all tied up as well. All right, let me size y'all down to like, actually, oh no, I got all of the tokens, not what I wanted. Let me try this again. Let me do them in sets here. Real tiny. There you is. Real tiny. Give or take the same size, right? Now, I'm going to just simply start. Big Business, are you leading the distraction?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Haley's going to follow you.
Okay.
And you got her like bound up, faking her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. The rest of you, you're not going to want to come around probably the bow until you know these guys are gone, because you can see they're watching, they're waiting. But all of you kind of stand, wait. Is there a signal, a cue? I guess they'll know when the guys disappear.
Yeah, at least for you guys to know when we're starting, I think Big Business is just going to shout like hella loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll hear
you guys will...
the yapping.
You'll hear the yap?
And we'll go in.
All right, cool. I'm going to move and give us a little bit more play space. Okay. Well, if that's the move, then that's the move. So, Big Business, you walk up and you can see immediately the two guys on the top deck notice you. There's no way for them not to. It's very open. And most of the building coverage is back here. You're literally on like a harbor shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Haley's, like, remember she had said she left her climbing gear behind when she first came on this boat? Yeah, all of that seems right. And Haley's bound, hands bound, mouth bound. And she looks at you like, here we go. And you hear one of the guys on the top deck pull his weapon, shoulder it, and like load. So you hear a bullet hit chamber, and he says, "Stop right there, super mutant! You shouldn't be here."
I have come to do business.
You can hear when your voice rings out, you can almost hear the gun kind of rattle in his hands as it shakes a little bit. And he says, we don't have any business with you.
You're about to.
And I point at Captain Haley, and then I'm imagining maybe I just took a bit of rope and some random scrap metal, and I'm dragging on a sled 2 bodies and maybe some other random...
He kind of looks.
stuff.
Now, remember, to the top deck, it's almost 30 feet, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of leans down. He says, I don't even know what that is. Show me what's under the sheet.
I pull it back, and I think I was given... Oh, okay, I'm trying to remember. I was given 2 of these fleshy fruits, and I gave one to the nuns. I think I still have one that's wrapped up in...
You still have one that y'all were kind of doing. Y'all were trying to figure out. You were using it for experiments back at camp.
Okay.
And on you have 2 Minutemen bodies, both of them extremely carnage, but it may not matter to them. And then you have Haley, who kind of keeps her head down so they can't really identify her, and her hands bound. And he says, what are we supposed to do with that?
I look up at them, and I will... Big Business, we can see his eyes go wide. He's our view like zooms inside of his brain, where we see 2 singular brain cells, 2 neurons fire off and connect. And then they zoom back out of his head, and he says, he grabs Haley's shoulder and kind of like pushes her so that she's forced to show her face.
And she kind of looks up, and he says, "Hey, where'd you get her? She
came into my camp with this."
And I hold up the purple fruit.
I forced you to tell me where she came from.
You see him lick his lips when you hold the purple fruit up. Mm-hmm. And he says, "All right, well, what do you want for him?"
She says you need these.
I point at the bodies.
I have many of these.
You can see the 2 guys talk to one another. They have a moment where they kind of converse where you can't hear them. And he says, all right, what do you want in return?
How can I trust that we make a good deal? I saw more than just the two of you on your ship. How do I know you're not trying to kill me?
They converse again because obviously their plan is to kill everyone that comes on board and use them for fertilizer. So they can't really lie about that. And he says, "Well, we have no interest in you. Just
Big
human
Business
corpses."
will scratch his head and say,
Hold on. My brain not as big as yours.
The other guy kind of whacks the guy in the back with his gun, and he takes up and he says, "What if we give you more of that?" And he points to the purple fruit in your hand. "We'll give you a crate for all 3 bodies."
Maybe. What's the number after 3?
4?
Yes, I saw that many of you on the deck.
Oh, you're talking
I
about
will-
Carl. And yeah, okay. And you kind of hear him yell back over their shoulder. And this guy comes up here. You hear kind of boots squeaking on cold, icy deck. And you see 2 more faces appear. The 4 of you see the 2 of them leave.
Okay, I feel better now. You don't have... What's the number after 4?
5.
You don't have 5 people, do you?
Well, we have the rest of the crew, but they're all farmers, man.
Okay. All right. Okay, we do business. Now I feel better. Hello, Carl.
You look at Carl, and one of the 2 guys kind of nods and gives him instructions, and he nods back as if they don't even have to communicate. Carl disappears and goes to the crane. And you can hear the gears, kind of rusty gears, begin to grind as the crane swings from this point here out kind of over the ship to this point and lowers down a large steel platform held by chains, and on it is a single crate of flesh fruit. Probably 8 or 10 pieces in it. And he says, and they point, the rest of them now point the guns at you and say, "Okay, take the fruit and load up the bodies, man."
I'll start walking over there, and am I able to like whisper to Haley as we're walking?
For sure. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
I say,
Oh, my brain hurts. How we need to get on the ship, but they don't want me on the ship. How do I get on?
Her mouth is gagged, so she can't really talk to you, and she kind of looks at you
Oh,
like,
I'm so stupid.
she keeps doing this weird thing with her head where she's like nodding at something.
I look in the direction.
It's the climbing gear she left behind at the base of the ship y'all didn't collect last time.
Oh, where is that?
It's literally right here. She dropped it the first time she came on the ship. They dropped it overboard and left it right there at the base of the ship, where it touches the ground. Like it's just sitting there in a pile like a backpack.
Okay. I say, and it would look kind of weird maybe to the people on the deck if we like went forward to grab this climbing gear.
Yeah, you
Like,
might
is it
want to
close-
wait until you get Haley and the bodies on the crane, and then when they're distracted,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Or
right.
when they start
Okay, cool,
shooting,
cool.
like you might be
Mhm.
able to climb after, but keeping the ruse
Yeah.
up, and Haley's keeps like nudging you, like trying to
Okay.
show you the climbing
I
gear.
nod and I'm like,
As your
"Oh,
single proton or like your single brain cell is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
spinning, like how do I plan
Got
this?
it.
No, yeah.
Got it.
And I imagine there's another shove as Haley kind of stumbles on. The 2 bodies
Mhm.
are loaded on. She kicks the crate off the metal and it slides onto the snow. And while this is happening, while the platform basically is being loaded, the 4 of you see that the 2 men on this side disappear. You don't know for how long, but they are no longer there.
All right.
Let's move.
In we go.
Okay.
Up we go.
What y'all have are grappling guns. That's what they basically had back at the other camp. So it will require you to shoot this grappling gun.
Okay.
So let me.
Should we add that?
It might just be that I have y'all do a small gun check and be done
Yeah.
with it. That's what we're gonna do. Y'all make a small
Okay.
gun check of your choosing. You don't have to, Mason. You basically just boost your flame. Yeah, as you start going up. And you can see here that the ground is not as level, right? Like all of this is actually open ocean. It's just frozen solid. So you're walking on open ocean. It's like blue and black below your feet. And there's a pretty large, probably 10 or 12 foot water wave that froze mid-wave against the backside of this vessel. So it actually, y'all can ice climb up to a point and then kind of grapple, so you don't have as far to go. You only need a success. I need one success. Great.
I got
Spare
two.
his.
Um,
Per person.
But can I
you just
can I
grab
share
her?
my
yeah.
yeah?
Okay, cool. Let me do our
That's funny. Bit of a Spider-Man moment.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Mary Jane.
complication for our scientist buddy here.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm a kind GM and I actually have 4 action points today, I'll use an action point for him. Because I get one for every player, but mine don't renew. So I've got 3 in the pot, but I'll use one for him to re-roll that 20 so he doesn't fall to his death. Okay, the good news is he needed 9 or below, so he does get 1 success. So he makes it. Mortimer,
Wow.
you see Delilah's like ping off. Like she doesn't hit the angle just right, so it pings off the edge of the boat, and it comes flying back, and as yours starts to draw you up, I imagine you just grab her by like the scruff or the shoulder, and she gets pulled up with you. So she doesn't actually take her own climbing gear, but that's okay. And Mason's just like all the way up to the top. Your climbing gear gets you to the edge of the ship, but not on board. Let me get... Actually, I guess, Mason, your eye stalks are above everybody else's. As you, like, putter up and your eye stalks get just overboard, here's what you see. Oh, I'm so sorry. You see about 8 farmers walking amongst the trees. They're just like they're just doing day-to-day like work.
Okay.
6, 7, and 8. They don't seem too interested in whatever is going on. Oh, that's not their job. They're not on watch duty, right? This guy's over here like picking flesh fruit off of trees or something, or like messing in the till of the earth.
Sure.
But the whole upper deck is covered in farmers in the farm.
Okay.
I'm happy to take a stealth check from everybody to get on board without being seen.
Can I tell them that? Can I putter back down? Putter back down.
Yeah. And I imagine these guns probably have like a trigger hold, so you're all kind of like hanging there, right? And Mason putters back down, and what do you say?
There are more than I anticipated. There are at least 8 seemingly tilling the fields right now, preparing the fruit for the picking. Should we continue? I'll move with trepidation. Channel my inner Savoy.
Definitely makes things more complicated.
I
We're still rising. We can stop.
Yeah, we'll say it's kind of like this. Her sister says, "Oops, their sister Delilah." With Mortimer, Mason, maybe you're over here, and the Minutemen's on the other side of you.
If we take out the 4 armed men first, it still puts us a considerable advantage. That said, they could start picking up the guns, and it could get pretty messy.
I'm inclined to agree.
The crane, you can see it. I guess specifically, Mason, if your eye stalk is the one that's kind of keeping watch before they come on board, and you see he begins to move the crane back on board with Haley. Big Business obviously isn't on there, but you can see the 2 bodies. They've graciously accepted the 2 bodies in Haley. And when it gets to this point, like when the crane comes around and stops right here, it lowers just before the door, and you begin to see people, the farmers, walking towards the crane as if they're going to probably retrieve the bodies. So they begin kind of muttering that direction. You can see Haley starting to really panic here, right?
I'm assuming, I assumed this whole time, but I should have mentioned that like she secretly has some weapon on her, right?
For
like
sure.
she's seeming like she's bound up, but okay. Cool.
Yeah, y'all set it up for it's a total Trojan horse in this case, yeah.
yeah.
That being said, this guy is going to go back to his post. So he starts walking this way. These guys are going to go back to their post, knowing that the bodies are on board and business with Big Business is pretty much done. We're not in initiative yet. Nobody's fired a shot. So who wants to sneak up?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's get a stealth check from everybody.
I think business is going to.
Remember, you can always
try
use.
it
You have
immediately.
4.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Did we regain luck from previous sessions, right?
You did. Luck refilled last session. So anything,
Okay.
yeah, but
So we
luck
should be
did. So
full
you
up.
should know that, Mason. Luck did refill. They
Cool.
finished a major story beat, so luck refilled. Again, your update brought your luck back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that update.
But yes, you can use a luck to re-roll either of those, and remember, you still have AP if you want to use it before your roll to add. Poor Delilah.
My
Bro.
ghost is I get a bonus die
Boy.
on sneaking in shadows or darkness. Do I count as in shadows?
I'd say there's some tree shadow. It's not darkness. I'll give it to you because the rest of the crew was real. Let's do it real rough. Big
Business is going to
business.
try
If
to
you
climb
want
up
to
too.
start to climb, the gear's going to make it. It's not a grappling gun. It's like proper like gear. So I need a
Okay, great.
strength athletics, but you only need 1 success with the gear.
I needed that
Say
bonus
less.
dice. The only reason I got a success.
For our, I see we've got a couple new people in chat, so that's really exciting. First off, thanks for joining us. Second off, to give you the very quick rundown, Zach is playing Big Business, our super mutant. Bentham is playing Mortimer, who is our, he's a survivor of the wasteland. A bit rangery in his type, but definitely not a Minuteman. You got Sister Delilah, who is, of course, a child of Adam. And you have Mason, who is our barber, Mr. Handy, I think is the he's a barber,
Yes.
Mr. Handy, who's having some strange things going on. That's our crew right now. We're missing Kalita. Sneeze again. Phew, I'm so sorry, y'all. My allergies are a mess with this cold weather. And then you've got Kalita, who is our vault dweller, but she is currently pregnant and in, from what we know, a safe place, being kept by a community called Beatsville. All right. Big Business, you are able to start climbing. This guy doesn't notice right away. You're going to get very close before you have to worry about actually, like,
Great.
him seeing you, because it's going to take him a while to walk back down. The rest of you... All right, Mortimer, you get on board very quietly. Like, nobody sees you. Oh, and you know what? Let me roll for our Minutemen. Okay, he did a good job, too. The two of you get on board like proper soldiers, quiet, and immediately you seek cover. There's a bunch of crates and stuff back here, and there's like the trees and stuff add some natural options for you. So the two of you are in fact hidden. Mason and Sister Delilah. Mason and Sister Delilah, you're not. You basically your feet hit and it makes noise. The good news is nobody's exactly there, but this guy thinks he hears something. Actually, this guy who's headed back this way thinks he sees something.
I hate it when my feet hit things.
Yeah, not
Wait
your
a minute.
feet. Your flame. We'll call it your flame. But you are definitely not hidden. The two of you are not hidden. You're like looking for somewhere, and the one box that they're hidden behind is not like gonna hold all 4 of you, kind of a thing. Like you're gonna need to make a decision here pretty quickly.
Can I just fly up to the tree?
Yeah, you could try. Like you can basically try to hide behind one of the trees, but you're round.
Yeah, like above the tree.
Oh, you're gonna go up and over the canopy?
Like in a way that I can just sort of circle around from their vision, just around the tree.
Yeah, we'll put you up here. It's still a 0, so you will be seen eventually. But
Oh, of
yeah, you
course.
can like go up and above. Sister Delilah, you try to find maybe the thickest tree that you can and try to like narrow your body. But this guy's assured that he's seen something this direction, and you see him get to about here, and he stops. And he goes, "Hey," just like in the video, go, "Hey, what was that?" And he kind of pans in that direction. Mortimer and the Minuteman that's with you, we'll call him Clive. Clive is with you, and the two of you he sees them, but he does not see you. Does anybody do anything? Big Business? As you get just to the top and your big hands like, buh, buh, you hear a guy go, "Hey, what was that?" And it's this guy right here. And as he leans over, he sees your big body on the edge of the boat. What do you do?
I say, where I come from, business is only concluded with a handshake.
What? He goes,
I climb on
you,
board.
you can't be up here. Do you grab him?
Yeah, I pull big business. Never thought I'd do this, but I pull the Assassin's Creed move and I grab
Pull
him
him
while I'm
overboard.
on.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll just a strength athletics for me.
Okay, great.
You caught him by surprise, so you only need 1 success.
Okay.
And I'm gonna shoot this guard.
Oh, and you're gonna shoot this
Good.
guy? Okay, go ahead and fire off your round 2 then, Mortimer. You're gonna get a free round before we go into initiative.
You said strength athletics?
Yeah, strength athletics just to
Okay,
pull him overboard. He may or may not die in the fall.
Got one.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. You make the joke about like shaking hands. And he goes, "Hey, you can't be here." And I imagine there's like a tug of his gun, and it throws him off. And you grab him by the scruff, and he goes, "Ah!" and falls about 30 feet, and maybe dead, but definitely passes out. In fact, what I'll do really quick, Sister Delilah, I'm gonna roll this off your sheet because it's what I had open.
Yep.
It's not Sister Delilah though. He gets a damage die for every 10 feet he falls. So he takes a damage, not much. He definitely is passed out though. Like he knocks his head and he goes unconscious. Okay, Mortimer, would you
I'm
like to
re-rolling
reroll
the
that
20 with a
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Mortimer rolled a 19.
Oh, come
and a-
on!
Wow.
I turned it from a 20 and a
Wow,
19 to
this-
2 19s.
This is going great.
Yeah,
rolls.
this is fun. So the shot fires off at this guy, but definitely misses. You know what? Knowing that he's on your side, he's gonna do this. Minuteman's gonna do the same thing. I think his is gonna be that's gonna be too high for the Minuteman here. Let me double check his laser musket. Yeah, he needed an 8. He didn't make it either, and
Oh.
both shots fire wide. Phew, this direction. He goes, "Oh, what was that?" And things are gonna get kind of rowdy here. This guy's been moving this direction. He's all eyes on big business now because he just watched his friend go overboard. So let's roll for initiative. The best way to do that is to click your token and then hit the initiative button on your character sheet.
Okay.
We'll say our Minutemen is going to go. Initiative will be next to your defense and health bar, if you don't know where it is.
Does initiative actually roll?
No,
Or is it just
no,
a
it's
static
just
number?
a static
Okay,
number,
that's what I
and it
thought.
will change based on I think your agility,
I see.
or maybe it's your perception. I can't remember. It's like it's based off one of them that as it changes, it gets higher. Oh yes, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do for. Here's what I'm gonna do for
Man.
this because I don't want to
12,
roll
16,
12
12,
fucks. Yeah,
14.
fucking time. All
3.
of the mariners will go kind of at one time. I'm considering everybody not holding a gun, which are everybody in the middle as like one group of them. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make this much easier on us. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And the Minutemen. All right, I got my 2 character sheets up. The last thing I got to do is hit a mutated mariner here. Put him in initiative. Did I do it? Oh, it didn't. It's not putting his... Oh, it's because this sheet is weird and doesn't actually have the stats. Let me grab them. That's weird. Where'd all my stats go? I built these myself. Roll20's gotten all these updates. All right.
Every plan goes so smoothly until the
yeah,
players
I was like,
begin
I was ready to
interact.
go for this one. No, it's okay.
Right.
What I'm going to do is hit my mutated mariner here, and I'm just going to manually put it in. So it would be 13. So I can just quick roll them. Boom. Okay, so they're all in there. I'm going to sort these by order. Which puts us at Mortimer first. So you already took a free shot, but it did neither yours nor the Minutemen's shot actually hit.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna aim and fire again.
Yeah, take it. Yeah, you just take another shot, and not, that's how it works. We're down here, so.
It's embarrassing. I've got to redeem myself here.
Yeah, the Minuteman was like, dude,
I think,
and then he missed. So
I swear that's never happened before.
yeah.
I think I was just looking at initiative because I was
Hey.
like, man, why is mine 3? I think so. It says a character's initiative is perception plus agility, which for me would be 8. I don't know why mine's 3.
Are you carrying a bunch of stuff? Are you too heavy?
Oh, is that
You
also
might
a
be.
thing?
Yeah, you might be overweight. So
Oh.
make sure that the things that you're carrying on you aren't actually checked if they're on your your count,
I'm,
right?
I'm not over encumbered.
Okay, that's weird. That sounds wrong. So what I would do is go ahead and put the 8 in
8.
there, you should be able to do it manually. And then what I can do is I can actually change this number manually.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's weird. It's a 3. I'll look into that. That could just be like a minor error on the sheet.
Okay.
All right, let's sort those again. All right, Mortimer, fire your shot off for 2 successes. That hits the guy for sure. What you're gonna note is these guys aren't wearing any armor. These dudes are dressed in like overalls, coveralls, light things other than the jackets that they're wearing. They don't have a lot of HP. I think is the word I'm looking for. So you hit. Roll your damage.
And it'll be an extra die, right, because of the 2 successes?
Yep. So this is a question. It will be whatever your damage is, and you get an additional 1 die for additional damage. Because you needed the 1 success to hit. And then, yeah, okay. Oh, 5 physical. You kill this guy. Is that what you would like to do?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Down he goes. This mofo here, he did. His body lies there in waiting. This guy. Oh yeah, it's not his turn. Mortimer, that was your turn. Do you want to move? You do still have a chance to move.
Well, I said I did a name, so
so you could get the extra. Yeah. You're right. Okay. That brings us to Mason. Mason, you're kind of like hovering above the trees, and you can see that the attention of all of these that were headed to go get the dead bodies and oh my God, what's her name? Haley over here, who's all tied up. They're beginning to look behind them. They're starting to see that like there's a commotion, especially now that shots have been fired.
Yeah, the shots firing feels a lot less like this is going to be very covert and a lot more like it's about to be absolute chaos.
Yep. Yep. I will. What am I going to say for this poor guy? He's probably got a broke leg or two, but he is passed out. So I'll say he's out of the game. He can't take any action.
Well, Dot, these trees look like they might need a trim, and he just can't get to them fast enough. So what better way to do that than by just lighting this up a little bit?
I think I'm gonna start lighting things on fire.
I'm gonna use my flamer hand and just start lighting these trees up.
Okay, so what I'll say is you can light 1 square a turn, basically, because there's about 12 trees in here. So you're just spraying and praying this one area. So what I'm gonna do is actually turn. I'm going to turn that box orange when it starts to burn, and we'll do a gradual. It starts out light, and the hotter it gets, the more it'll burn. Mason just starts lighting up the trees, and this pisses off the farmers. If they weren't mad before, they don't give a fuck about bodies now. They all turn, and you can hear almost like a growling, a hissing, an unnatural, beastly response as they get furious. He's burning the crops. A few of them scream out of like as if it's painful almost to watch something so precious to them be burned. But there you have it. Mason's up here burning trees. It is all the Mariner's turn. This guy sees Big Business. Now, Big Business, I'm going to say when you pulled him over, you're able to get on the deck. Okay, that was your free action before combat. He sees you and goes, oh, shit! And he's going to fire at Big Business. He does only have a pipe rifle, bless his heart. Where is it? Pipe gun. And his... Oh, I see why, because my shit's all weird. Okay, so I should be able to just roll this. He needs to hit... this is going to be his body, so he needs to hit an 8. Oh, I'm so sorry. He needs to hit an 11. Oh, that's not good for him. Okay, he's going to just flat roll 2. He needs to hit an 11. Did he do it? He did not. The shot fires long, and it hits into this metal like wall right here behind you, Big Business, which leads to the staircase that goes up to the office.
Okay.
But it pings past you, and you can see him quickly like trying to like pull the bolt on the gun as he's like it's a little jammed and rusty. But he's like, oh, now he knows he's fucked up because he didn't hit you, and I imagine he imagines he's first up in your wrath. But that's his turn. This guy's dead. That guy's dead. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, nope. There's the 4th Mariner. Yeah, there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and this guy. He has a gun.
The one operating the crane.
Yeah, the one operating the crane. He has a gun. He's also going to fire at Big Business because that's all he can see right now. He needs an 11 as well.
Oh.
I'm a kind GM, so I'm
Ooh.
gonna allow this to happen. He does hit you, big business. So he's gonna
Okay.
take the 1, but this guy. Oh, okay, I see. He his gun explodes in his hand.
Great.
So he will split the gun damage with you, basically.
Wow.
So I need to figure out how many I need to roll, because pipe pistol. That's what I thought. So it's really not that much damage.
Okay.
It's really not. So you'll basically share 3 dice worth of damage. He takes half, you take half. Out of 4, you take 2, and he takes 2.
Okay. I have at least damage reduction 3 everywhere on my body.
Then it doesn't affect you in any
Yeah.
way. He, unfortunately, does not have any armor on. He's just a dude. So he takes 3 and goes, oh, and he kind of falls prone to the side. And at the end of this round, Haley will unbind herself and join the fight. The rest of these guys see what's going on, and they immediately start rushing down here. A couple of them make it pretty quickly. They're going to use their whole turn to go as far as they can. They seem to be headed for the water supply down at this end of the ship. You can see there's like barrels and tubing and all kinds of stuff. They're going to probably try to put these fires out, you can imagine. But all of them will use their turn, because none of them have guns, to go up to this point. This guy's going to have to come back. Actually, he sees big business. You're a fresh piece of meat and he's hungry. We'll leave him for you. That's their turn, because they use it all to move as fast as they can to try to put the fire out, which they hope to do next turn. That makes it the Minutemen's turn, correct? Yep. Mortimer, you see, he looks at you when you hit this dead-eye headshot, and he loads back to hit this guy here, because that's the next one that has a gun. So the Minuteman is going to take a fire. This one is set up appropriately. I'm not going to use any additional... God damn it.
Oh.
All right. I said I was nice. I'll use another... I'll use one of my action points to re-roll the 20. I don't really get luck. That super sucks for me. And he doesn't make it. His shot is too far. His gun, he's got to go the whole length of the ship, and it pings into like a tree nearby this guy, and he goes, oh shit, as he takes cover, but he does in fact miss. And he's gonna move to a new set of like stack of crates over here at the end of the vessel. For all of you at home, I'm so sorry, I just realized you can't see anything that's going on. Okay, there you go, there's your map. Now you're in the know. And that takes us to the next turn, which is Sister Delilah.
Okay. Who did Mortimer shoot at earlier?
He killed this guy right here.
One of the farmer guys.
Oh,
that's the guy with
that was the guy.
He had a gun.
He had a gun.
Oh, okay.
This one has a gun. Everybody else is using like basic like shovels and things. Like they don't have any guns on them.
Okay.
And they don't actually seem interested in you. They're more interested in putting out this fire Mason has started.
Yeah.
We've only got one armed dude now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna try to shoot. Yeah, the one that he just missed.
This one?
I'll try firing at him.
Yeah, go ahead.
With my new plasma gun.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez. All right.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go.
All right,
All the
Delilah.
VFX
Out
budget
here.
of this entire episode spent for this moment.
All right, Delilah. This gun is much bigger than anything that you've ever held before. You kind of had a 10mm. That didn't go so great for you at the last combat.
No.
And
my gamma gun also.
Not great against anything that's can't take radiation. And so you just have this moment of like putting it to your shoulder. It's like slow-mo. It feels right. An energy weapon. It's not shooting a bullet. It's shooting energy. And you pull back. You load it. And you take a shot. Now, the 1 is going to count as your success. The 6 is also actually you got 3 successes, so you can't take any more AP. You guys are at 4.
Oh.
So you're going to take 2 additional damage dice. So hit your damage die on the weapon, and when the second box pops up, put 2 more.
Okay, got it.
You're about to turn this guy into literal plasma dust.
Let's go.
All right, 4. So yeah, he does not goo, which is a possibility. You haven't seen that. But you watch an entire chunk of his body leave his frame. And all that's left is this clean-cut plasma hole in his torso as he like KO sways and then collapses to the ground.
Wow.
He's not dead, but he will be very, very soon. So we're going to call him out of commission. The Minutemen, Clive, and Mortimer, I imagine you both look at Sister Delilah like, the fuck? Because this nasty green plasma shoots across the ship and lights up everything along its way.
Sister Delilah also just take a moment to like kind of just look at the gun and
like, oh
also
shit.
yeah.
He's not doing so hot. The rest of the a couple people look because I imagine the plasma shot shoots right through this gap between these two guys. But yeah, Delilah, you've basically killed him. He is not in a place he can even lift a weapon at this point.
Hell yeah.
Big Business is your turn. Out of nowhere, you see a blue plasma shot cut across the ship, and it takes this guy out, and he just like he has half a torso now. He just collapses in on himself. This guy is still readily available, and this guy tried to take a shot as well.
So this one right in front of me, this is a farmer,
This is just a farmer.
and they're just looking at me like,
Yeah, they're looking at it like, oh shit. Like, yeah, they're kind of growling. Probably they want to eat you. Potentially, you're not sure, but there's like a ferociousness to this person. You can see the purple gunk in their teeth.
I'm gonna look at them and say,
Rethink your life decisions.
and I will walk up the stairs.
Oh, you're gonna go up the stairs. This will be fun.
Yeah.
This guy sees it. That's like he's like, wait a second, and he kind of runs behind you. Well, it's not his turn, but he will run behind you. He tries to stop you, but there is no stopping you. You're gonna use your whole turn to move.
I'm gonna use my whole turn. If I can, I kind of look over at Haley. Like, does she seem like she's?
You see the flick of her, like, I don't know, knife probably, as she's gonna cut herself free. So she'll be free next round.
Okay, I think assuming that the other people in my party who are obviously great with guns can help take care of this guy on the crane. Yeah, I'm gonna get to.
I'm gonna get
I'm
up
gonna
top.
start the assault on Dr. Yarrow's little room.
Yeah, and so you begin. We hear the big feet of like as they come up like a round robin flight of stairs. You'll get to the top, but you'll not be able to like do anything with the door till next turn. But
Sounds
you do
good.
make it to what is basically the entry point of his office down at the end of the ship.
Okay.
All right, Big Business. We wrap around. Mortimer, it is your turn. All of these people don't seem to be attacking you. They seem significantly more interested in fighting the fire.
Yeah, I think I'll call it to the others like, these ones are busy, leave them. But I want to run up to this guy's body. I want to grab his gun.
Yeah.
And either pocket it or toss it overboard. And then, I don't know if there's any more time to do that for the
I was about
second
to say,
guy.
that will be that's basically your turn. You won't be able to, you cross to him, you kind of get his weapon, and you give it a hard chunk overboard. It is just a pipe pistol. So you can pocket it if you want to. It's up to you.
I'll throw it overboard.
Yeah, and it goes careening
It's slightly
over.
cooler and I don't need it.
And it's just a shitty pipe pistol, so it probably breaks at a 30-foot impact on the ice below. But yeah, you get over it. And what you can see is running over, you kind of put yourself in the line of all of these guys, which may be bad for you in a little bit, but we'll find out.
I don't want to get in their way. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm like, these guys are fighting the fire. That's good. I want them to keep doing that because it means we can get on with other things.
Mason, it is your turn. This section is on fire.
So it seems, and it seems that I've diverted the attention from the rest of the mess. So it looks like, let's spread some love.
Yeah, okay.
Let's keep doing it. It's working.
Which next section would you like to light?
I want to split their attention, so I'm gonna hover to the other side and light the tree across from them.
You come across, and as you do, a couple people actually swipe at you with their bare hands like an animal, as you kind of probably float over their head, and they're like, stop, don't do it, and you hit this one, and you light it on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I know if I run out, Big Business has said he's got a backup thing of flame.
This one now goes from orange to like probably a deeper orange. It's much hotter. Once it gets to red, it's like the whole orchard of that piece is on fire.
Got it.
And it's just going to get hotter every turn. And a couple of these guys are like, no! And as you notice, as they get close to the fire, they have to reel back.
Recoil.
Actually, yeah, they have to recoil. They can't actually run into the fire. And panic escalates, I guess you could say. All of these mariners, these farmer mariners, begin to run for it. Just like they've got to get water on this problem soon. They know that. So these guys start running and grabbing barrels and buckets. This one, Mortimer, that's right in front of you, you kind of reach down and grab the gun and you toss it. He comes kind of shambling up and he takes a bite at you.
Oh.
He is going to actually like on you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, I see why. That's right. He needs to roll a 11 to hit you, or under.
I do have 2 defense.
Oh, that's right. You're the person with 2 defense. Damn it. He only gets 1, and as you toss the gun and you kind of put your back just momentarily, you feel hot breath, smelly fungus, rotting hot breath on your neck as he reaches down and you pull away just in time to hear the snap of teeth that would have been the like small of your neck. He does miss though, which is a really good thing. You really don't want to get bit. That's his turn. The rest of them are kind of running. They run past you, and they're all like trying to get to the water. The only guy who doesn't run past you is this guy right here. He sees Haley as she is going to join our turn order. What I'll do is put her in officially with the Minutemen on the next turn, but he sees her cut herself free and she is also fresh meat. He is going to run up and also try to bite Haley because she's alive. He only needed 1 and he does. He bites her.
Oh.
Yeah. So you see him like as Haley gets herself free and like rips her mouthpiece off. He comes running up and she kind of puts her hands up to stop him from like tackling her. And he reaches over and just bites this chunk out of her arm. And I don't mean like just bites her like a kid, like rips clean a chunk of her arm. As she screams, fuck! As she pulls away, Haley will take a point of fatigue and begin down the road of being sick, basically. That's all I can tell you right now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, she's not
I
real
like
happy
the
with
sound
it.
of this.
Yeah, neither does Haley. And she is going to take 5 damage from that.
Whoa.
Yeah. She's not looking great now. Okay, that was its turn. It's now Haley's turn. And she actually has a she doesn't have her laser musker on it because there was no way, but maybe we'll say she has a machete. That's what she pulled. Anybody machete? Anybody? Yeah, there we go. All right, she's got a. Why didn't it put my machete in? I guess I'll treat it like an unarmed strike because that's basically what it is. She would need an 8 with the machete, so not a 6 as it's going to show. She just fucking reaches out, and you know what? I like Haley, and I don't want her to die, so I'll spend and add a 3rd die for her, for all of you. Oops. Oh, man.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, she got the
yeah.
success. She got 1 success, and she does reach out and just decks this guy. Fucking levels him with a hard punch. The problem is she breaks her knuckles doing it. He stumbles backwards and trips off the edge and falls prone, which means his defense falls to 0. You do not have to roll to hit him as long as he is prone. Oops, so he would have 4 now. Okay. And she's now trying to kind of clutch her arm as she's like trying to get to her feet, knowing that there's also a guy behind her. That is Haley's turn. That is the Mariner's turn. I think that brings us up to date. Where'd my turn order go?
It just vanished. I
was about to say, it vanished, right? I was like, where did my turn order go? I'm so lost. That would be Haley. She went with the Minutemen. The other Minutemen, the one next to you, he sees the opportunity as these guys, he starts to fucking run. He's going to take his whole turn and cross this level of the ship, knowing that the goal is to get into the office. He takes it as an opportunity to go support big business. And Sister Delilah, you feel him run past you.
Yeah.
Trying to put distance between himself, the fire, and all of these hungry cannibals. That is his turn. Mortimer, I hope you get the hell out of there on your turn. It's looking bad. Sister Delilah, you see Mortimer is kind of surrounded. Not all of them are after him, but there's a lot of them around him, which could end poorly.
Yeah, I do want to assist him
I thought
before heading out. So I'm gonna take a shot at the one that, like, if there's one that looks like it's gonna bite him again, if I see one, like,
there was one that
looking-
it's the one that walked up right
Yeah,
behind him,
okay.
did take a bite, so you could shoot that guy.
Yeah, the one. If he's looking to take another chomp, I'm gonna shoot. So
Give it a go. Oh, you have 4 AP. Oh, you don't fucking need it. Go ahead and add 2
Jesus.
more additional dice with that
This
gun.
is
This is-
wild.
this
Can you
is-
only get 3 successes with that
This
plasma
is
gun?
what's crazy. Sister Delilah can use she's an energy weapon. So it's a lot easier for her to use an energy weapon than it is to use something that uses a bullet, which is why we saw her fail with the 10 millimeter. But she got this plasma gun. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Okay, so he takes 3 energy damage. Mortimer, as you turn to see this guy, a shot of green plasma rings out, doing 3 points of damage and causing him to kind of stumble over this dead body this way.
Yeah, what does vicious mean under the effects for it?
I believe vicious. That means he takes ongoing damage. He'll take she'll re-roll damage at the top of his turn.
Oh.
Oh.
Yep. A vicious attack means that it stays. Like the damage, it's permanent. She's bleeding out. He takes damage from it every turn because plasma's like eating away at the body. It's like a radiation gun. All right. Well done. Big business. It is your turn. You are at the door.
From where I am I still able to see the rest of the ship?
You can actually, up here, you can see the whole of the ship. You can see 2
okay.
sections burning. One Mason just set on fire, this one. You can see most everybody at the end of the ship. Now you can see this Minuteman running towards you. You can also see Haley's in a bit of a pickle. She's like 2 stair flights down from you, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is Big Business really did not expect these farmers to actually be dangerous? And
Yeah,
so as
you didn't
he
know they
got to
had-
the door and then turned and sees like an entire chunk of flesh leave Haley's arm, he's going to try to help her before he does anything with the door.
If you've got a gun, go for it. This guy right here, you can shoot him and just do damage. He's prone because she knocked him over with the punch. So he is prone. You don't even have to roll
But then
to
there's
hit
still
him.
the guy operating the crane.
But then there's this guy. He's about to get on his he's back on his feet and is going to attack Haley.
Okay. And I can't reach them in melee this turn, either one.
You could make a jump.
Hell yeah.
You could jump it. So make a strength
Can I-
athletics.
Yeah. Can I jump from here to here?
Yeah, easily. You could just crush him
Okay.
potentially with your body weight.
Great. Strength athletics, you said?
Yep.
Okay. That should be fine.
As long as you get 1 success, you'll jump. Oh,
There you go.
yeah. So you were gonna take 1 damage die for each level you dropped on him, like the weight of your body. So that's 2. In this case, you get a extra success, so that's a 3rd die because you can't bank the
Okay.
AP. So you're just gonna roll 3 damage die.
Got it.
You might just crush this guy to death.
Just 3 damage.
That's exactly it. He does not see you coming. He's clearly like raising his gun to point it at Haley, and you come out of nowhere above him, and
Wrestling
you hear,
move.
yeah, exactly. You hear his body literally crunch under your weight. He's dead.
Do I take damage as well, you said?
You do not. He broke your fall.
Oh, great.
That was the whole point. I was like, as long as you hit him, he breaks your fall, and we'll take all of that damage. So he too is also dead. Haley hears like a big thud behind her, and
Yeah.
she looks at her holding her arm.
Yeah, Big Business will look at her and say,
I'm sorry, I didn't know they were actually that crazy.
She kind of laughs and she says, it's fine. Get up top. And she kind of gestures for you to keep going.
I look back, I'm like, okay, and I slowly will.
And you start the process again of coming all the
Yeah.
way back around the flight of stairs. Yeah.
At this point, actually, I think Big Business will stay on the deck,
On the deck with
realizing that
Haley.
maybe these people might be a danger.
Yeah. Haley is not her turn. It is Mortimer's turn. Mortimer, down at the other end of the ship, a lot of them just kind of rush past you. This guy is still alive, but he's bleeding pretty profusely thanks to Sister Delilah. Oh, and this guy's dead now because he took more damage on the last round. Boom, he's dead. He's not unconscious anymore. He bled out. What would you like to do, Mortimer?
I might just start. Does the guy that tried to bite me, does it seem like he's like locked onto me now rather than the fire?
Yeah. He saw an opportunity to eat you. He just got distracted along the way.
Okay.
He was hungry boy.
I'll shoot him.
Yeah, he seems pretty damaged. He's gonna die either this round or the next. So go ahead and just lay into him. Only need one success.
Start blast.
That's a high demand for me, as demonstrated.
As demonstrated, not
can't
this
be doing
time.
that.
Yeah, the shot rings out and hits kind of the tree behind him, and it's because he's writhing from the pain of the plasma that's like growing up the side of his body where Sister Delilah hit him.
I'm gonna start running towards the back of the ship.
Yeah,
However far I
you're
can
like,
get.
fuck it. You're gonna pass through some pretty heavy smoke here, but you get to probably about right here. Sister Delilah, you see Mortimer pass. He gets out of the chaos and confusion of all of that down there. Oh, this is gonna be
If necessary,
really
I
fun.
do have a gas mask.
Oh, that could come in handy. You remember it like maybe strapped to your back, or you're saying, oh yeah, shit. Okay. Mortimer, it goes to Mason. Mason, the fields continue to burn.
Does it look like they're going to spread?
The fires? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And all of the farmers are fetching water.
They're going to clearly attempt to put it out. Basically, what's going to happen is when a box reaches red, it will spread to a adjacent box. So it takes 3 turns for it to get hot enough to spread to an adjacent box. This one now, for your turn, is going to go to a darker orange. So you get the idea.
What are they using to pull up water?
You can see they have like basic hoses and stuff and buckets, and they're all inside these large metal plastic barrels on board the boat. They're probably collecting rainwater, and this is how they like water the gardens. But they're gonna use buckets and basic tubing. They do not have a
Nothing sophisticated.
Yeah, this is not a garden hose situation. They don't have that kind of pressure.
Okay. So are they like running a valve, or is it an actual like rubber hose, or what is?
Yes, and so some of them go to like barrels where there's a tap, and so they're like trying to fill buckets as quickly as they can from like a rainwater tap. The
Yeah.
other buckets, some of them pull back, and you see them like put a tube in it, and they do the siphoning move where they
Have to siphon.
start to siphon it. Yeah, but it's gonna take them some time. This is
Okay.
not an immediate watering system. That's why they panicked.
Yeah, the panic is real. How it looks like Sister Delilah is legitimately melting people. Mortimer is shooting people as well. I really don't think I have sight on Haley. Big Business seems to be doing fine so far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Has anyone else come up from the bowels of the ship?
No, currently not. You've not seen anybody come from the bowels of the vessel.
Okay, then knowing that this is going to spread, can I, using this picture below, can I use one of these openings in the vessel to kind of get inside?
Those actually do not exist.
Oh, they don't.
Those
They
are
basically hold it
they
all up.
Hold the whole thing up because they were actually out at
okay.
sea, right? So all that's held up. This is really more of a reference for size, but yeah, those windows would have existed, but they are fully like closed up. It's very clear that the best way into the bottom of the ship is going to be through the hatch right here, or you can take the flight. There's going to be an actual flight of stairs down, right?
Mason's not super combat savvy, so I think I'll move here and start flaming onto that tree that he's over the top of.
Love that. Because this turned red, it did turn the adjacent square. So Sister Delilah, the trees above you start to light fires, beginning to get smoky in the cover that you're standing under.
Okay.
Mason will now light one more box on fire. He's
Yeah.
going to burn this fucking ship to the ground before this is over with. I'm convinced of it. Didn't see this coming. I should have.
Sorry.
Should have. Should have seen this coming. Yeah, okay, so this one is very much on fire, and it will burn until they put it out. Next turn, it will light the next square on fire next to it.
Cool.
So this one would next be on fire. This one will turn red and begin doing the same thing. So all of these squares of field will probably be fully burning by the time we come out of combat. But they do begin siphoning like water and trying to do the best that they absolutely can. It is a muted mariner's turn. This guy is struggle bussing and is bleeding out. You see these two that were trailing behind sniff the air. And they both turn with this like grimace on their face, snarling, showing their teeth. They dive and begin eating this guy.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. No stopping him now. This guy runs over. These two guys run over with buckets. Actually, no, they're going to run to. They start running behind you. They're not going to make it entirely, but they get to about right here, and they start trying to like psh, psh, splash water. They will now turn this red one orange, right? So it's just going to color back and forth, basically. It's still going to. They can only turn one color every round. But that means they can't do everything. They're not going to be able to hit it all. So it's just going to kind of keep burning until they sort this problem. These guys are, he's going to be dead. They are going to eat him alive. Super dead. These four run over. Actually, that's not true. Yeah, they do. They'll probably, yeah, these four will run over and splash this one, which will take it down to, oh, I did that wrong. I should have called me on that. This one actually goes to a burnt orange color. This one goes to regular orange. Now, each turn, they have to run and get more water and come back. So again, it's going to be a very slow process for them to put this fucking fire out. It's not going to happen quickly. That is all they care about, and these two guys are not even useful until they finish eating the other guy. Super fucked up. We'll just move right along. It is now the Minutemen's turn. He continues running. He's going to jump over and probably hit like here. He kind of crosses and he sees this guy laying prone. Actually, that's not true. He would have taken his turn to get up. So he's not prone anymore, but he's going to fire. He's going to give it all he's got, this Minuteman. He wants this guy dead. Hey, he got a success.
Nice.
Look at that. No additional dice. Yeah, he kills him. Boom.
Oh yeah.
So he's also dead. So this guy goes dead, and you can hear like, let out a sigh of relief, Big Business, as he dies, because that's the one that took the chunk out of her arm.
Mhm.
No guys remain on this end of the vessel at the what we call the aft end of the vessel. Moving right along, Sister Delilah, it's your turn. The trees above you begin to burn.
I'm gonna move ahead and just get out of here.
That is
As
also
much
on
as I
fire.
can.
I was about to say, don't run into the fire. Yeah, you kind of you're kind of coughing through smoke as this whole section of the ship is really dense in smoke, and you get just past it to see this guy take a shot and kill another person. Do you want to take your whole turn to move?
Yes, I think so.
Then you'll actually be able to get to about right here.
Okay.
Because you're going to be able to move double. Big Business, it's your turn. Everybody seems dead near you. Haley's a smidge injured, but she can still walk. It was out of her arm, so.
Okay.
There is beeping coming from your aft. It's still
beeping
beeping,
coming
by
from
the
my
way.
end?
Do not fret.
Okay.
You can't lose them. It is still beeping. Every about 30 seconds. It's like a bad fire alarm.
It's like the worst game of Marco Polo ever.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was like, what can I do to really just make Bub? And I was like, oh, he's just going to beep for weeks.
Is there a Big Business will, from his vantage point here on the ship, looking out at the fire, he can literally see everyone.
Yes.
He can see his party. He can see
Mortimer's
all
a
the
little
farmers.
blocked by smoke. Mortimer's the only one that's hard to see,
see.
but you can see his
Yeah.
like silhouette in the smoke. He's coming. He's just not there yet.
So he sees like Haley arm chunk bitten off. He sees Mason setting fire to stuff.
Yep.
Sister Delilah and the guy moving around. Cannibals eating their friends. Other people putting out fires.
Correct. It's chaos.
And we see two other brain cells connect in his brain. He's gonna look around. Is there a loudspeaker anywhere?
You know,
that I
it's
can-
funny that you asked that.
Hmm.
There is. It is up here on the actual platform where you get in the door. There's a big pole and they put a large speaker there. Now, how you access that is probably from inside of that, but there is a loudspeaker. What it does, you do not know.
How I access that is probably from inside where Dr. Yarrow is. Perfect. Okay. I think I'm gonna run to go to access Dr. Yarrow's.
Yep, you
room
start
again.
the
I know-
process of like,
yeah.
and you
While
run.
I'm running, I'm gonna attempt and yell back, and Big Business will say he's just gonna yell "stop" a couple times, like 3 times, in the direction of where all the farmers are,
Oh, okay. All of them?
hoping that it does anything. it's just-
No.
Okay.
They don't listen to you. No.
But otherwise, yeah, no, he's gonna run up to try to access the doctor's
So
office as quickly
your
as
turn
possible.
will basically again be taking the stairs all the way up. You get to the
Okay.
door.
Alright.
It literally is like a multi-tier flight of stairs. So you take your whole turn. We hear
Is
those
there?
heavy feet.
You know what? I was reading something about luck.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of the ways we haven't spent luck yet that I just found out? So it says, in a combat encounter at the start of any round or immediately after another character's taken a turn, you may spend 1 luck to interrupt the round and take your turn.
Yes, correct. You can take a turn outside of initiative order.
So, okay.
So-
I think I want to try to do that after Mortimer.
I was about to
then.
say, so basically we'll loop, and then you can take your turn right after
Great.
Mortimer. Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
absolutely.
I'm spending so
You'll
much
just have-
time just getting out
Yeah,
there,
you'll have to spend the luck, but you can
Great.
absolutely do that.
All right, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, big business. We hear his heavy feet up the stairs. It does now become Mortimer's turn. Mortimer, what would you like to do? The fire is both lighting and they're trying to put it out. You can hear like the singeing and the as it's some of the water's freezing too. Because remember, it's fucking cold outside. In fact, this is probably the warmest you have all been in weeks, except for when you were at Beckminster, right? In terms of the fire, the top of the deck now is actually really, really warm.
I'm gonna leave them all to it. I grab my gas mask off my hip and just like press it to my face as I run between these two fires. I'm just gonna keep running down the ship.
So you'll make it to about here. Big business from up there where you're at. You can absolutely see Mortimer like emerge from the smoke wearing this kind of gas mask to keep his lungs safe.
Looks very cool.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
Coat flapping.
So cool.
Wow, he looks
burning
really
behind
cool.
him. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
the coolest Mortimer has ever looked.
So big business, you're going to spend a luck and take your turn now.
I will.
Okay. Do tell us what you're going to do.
I will break the door down.
That's cool.
Assuming there is one that needs to be broken
Yes,
down.
that's actually, yes, there's a very big heavy metal boat door, right, which is meant to withstand like the pressure of water. So it is very hefty. And it is locked. I think you're going to probably have to break it open. So why don't I get a strength athletics from you? Because that's what you're using, correct? You're not like blowing it open.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll spend an action point.
Oh, first one of the
Because
game.
we have a good amount.
Yeah. You have 3. Might as well.
And maybe we'll get it back. Yeah. I
It
don't know how many
took
successes I
2.
need.
You needed 2 to
Okay.
break the door. So you don't get
Great.
it back, but you do get the door open. The first big heavy you can almost see the door rattle in its hold. The carriage bolts in it kind of rattle in their rustiness. And on the inside of the room, you hear an eep. Like a there is somebody in there. There's a scared meep that happens from the other side of the room. And then maybe some profanities and some shuffling and rustling. And you rear that fist back one more time and hit it. Foo! And this time the door jumps out of the the pinhold of the door and literally and falls into this space. At one point, this was the bridge of this ship, and maybe even was recently when they were like out at sea. Now it has been converted into a laboratory. Beakers, Bunsen burners, notes, scientific just hoopla, everything you could possibly imagine. And you see a man in a white coat dive behind his desk. And that's what he does. That's what you see. And that's kind of your turn. You get the door open and he's like, you see somebody dodge. And I would say you can see you see the intercom, but not before he hit, like just a little yellow gloved hand reaches up over the desk and presses a button. And as it does, you hear a loud deafening come out of the speaker system outside of the boat, and it just rings out over the water and the bay. The good news is there is no help coming.
Oh yeah, that's
because
the alarm
you
to
killed
summon.
them all.
These are the people,
But
Mason, that we
he
killed
doesn't know that.
in the other camp.
Yep, precisely. Y'all did this kind of backwards. Now would be the time where reinforcements would come, but there are no reinforcements. But he doesn't know that. So Dr. Yarrow hits the big red button. But you can see like a speaker intercom system that you imagine would.
I trained for this moment. I will end my turn as he presses the big button, and I will hold up Scrapjaw's jaw and say, "Looking for this?"
Ah, perfect. I fucking love that. Yeah. And it will go from big business's luck turn, which is what we call it, which means you won't get another turn this session. You just took it early, to Mason. Mason, you hear this woo, woo ring out from a large speaker set at the top of Yarrow's like office.
And Big Business disappeared.
And Big Business is now officially in the office. You saw he broke the door open. If you look up, he's now inside the office.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on, you don't know.
Okay. Mason's not really aware of whether or not they have backup. He didn't get the full layout of, we decimated the reinforcements. So
That
can
is
I figure out
true.
can I figure out how to shut this off just in case?
The best thing to do would be to go up there and cut the wire.
I'll do it.
Yeah, we see Mason like fly up above the fire, which now gets hotter. I'm gonna go around and make each one hotter, and he over to here, and you're kind of like hovering, and imagine you're bouncing a little bit because you're having to boost the flame constantly, right? And you're kind of hovering, and you can nip the wire.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's cut that shit out real fast.
Yeah, I won't even make you make a roll for that. That's pretty simple. Imagine your hair clippers come out.
Yep.
Right? And they just nip right through it, and the speaker system's like woo. Then it just kind of goes out. That is Mason's turn. I did that one. I did not do this one. These are going to get hotter. This is just going to be a constant game of can we put the fire out? Yeah, it was on that one, so it goes to this one. Yeah. Because things are about to get really bad. That one went red, so now this one's lit on fire. They're even more fucked. Okay. Well, there you have it. There's some fires burning on the deck. Yeah. Mason, you clip it clean. It'll take your whole turn, and it does move to the mariners. The two that finish eating the body immediately realize they've maybe made a priority mistake and run over to get water from the barrel. Actually, that's too many. This guy runs over.
That moment, they're full now. They're full. They have the moment of clarity.
They
right?
have a moment of clarity. They're like, oh, fuck, we're supposed to be putting out a fire.
Post-cannibalism clarity.
Yeah, post-cannibalism clarity. So what's going to happen here is these two have to go refill. So they also are going to run over to refill. Two of these guys move up for their turn to try to put this fire here out, while these two are going to run back and get more fucking water. So really this round, only two of them are going to actually do anything to the fire. So they try to douse this fire down to, we'll call it light orange. This is going to be an impossible task for these poor farmers. This is so funny. Okay, that's all the mariners' turn. Everybody else, fucking dead. Actually, that's not true. This guy down here, somewhere off in the distance, only Mason and Big Business can see it. This guy wakes up from unconsciousness with a broken leg. And he is screaming, help me! Oh my God! It hurts so bad, help me! It's bad. He's got like a super duper broken leg, but he's fully alive. We'll come back to him. Moving along to the Minutemen, which would be... She runs up behind you. She's interested in whatever you're doing. So it takes her whole round to get up to the top. She sees Mason above her, and she's kind of behind Big Business as his shoulders take up the doorway. The other Minutemen kind of comes out and looks at you, Mortimer, to ask, what's the game plan? Like, he looks to you for soldier confirmation of what next steps are.
Go for Dr. Yarrow.
He doesn't hesitate.
They're all busy. They'll stay busy.
He'll take his entire turn to get to the stairs, so he will not be able to run up them. Sister Delilah, it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same and start heading to Dr. Yarrow.
To Dr. Yarrow. Yeah, you do the same thing. The flight of stairs here, you're gonna hit the end, and the two of you have, it's like, yeah, it's gonna take you a next turn to get all the way up, but you're on your way. Big Business will skip your turn this round because you moved up. Mortimer, it is your turn.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with him. Move towards the...
Great. So you'll actually get mostly up the stairs. We'll say you're right about here. The door is actually accessible in this area, technically. So you're real close, but you're not on top of the door. You got closer than they did because you were already there. At this point, here's what I'll say. Since y'all are not currently shooting anything, we did have a new person join combat, which was Dr. Yarrow last turn. Dr. Yarrow, as you say the things, the alarm goes off. That same yellow-gloved hand peeks up over the desk. But this time, Big Business, you see a gun in it. A gun like you've never really seen before. It doesn't look big or powerful. It's kind of puny, actually. And then all of a sudden, you hear a as it shoots a syringe across the room at you. This is called the syringer.
Oh, no.
This will be really fun. Yeah,
Wonderful.
Yaro's going to take the syringer. The question is, what does he have in it? That's what he has in it.
Super mutant juice.
Yeah. Let's see if he actually hits. He needs to roll a 13 or lower. And because I want this so bad, I'm going to spend.
Oh, no.
This is my one bad
Yeah.
action point. I'm going to spend my last action point for this
Okay.
game, which means I don't get any more, everybody. He rolled 1 success. Does that hit you?
Yeah.
Yeah! Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
no, I don't have two. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a whole bunch. So yeah, he it shoots across the room, and you see it just like gingerly pokes right through your armor into like your skin. And you don't feel an explosion. It doesn't feel like a bullet. It feels like a little bit of a pinprick. And then you watch it automatically as it releases a chemical directly into your body called lock joint. When an effect is rolled, add the stun lock joint. And so in this case, you feel all of your bones like as you just kind of lock at the joints, and you can move your eyes. You can't quite move your
my
mouth,
God.
but you can hear, you can breathe. But yeah,
I'd like to think that that it pierces into his
Yeah.
chest, and he looks down. He sort of chuckles at it.
Yeah.
and pulls it out.
What was this supposed?
yeah,
And
that's
just
it.
falls
Basically,
forward.
exactly what goes down. And now as your body like locks up and kind of leans into the door frame, you can see Haley and the rest of the crew beginning to come up the stairs. And we will go out of combat, at least for now, as all of you make it to the entrance of his office, and we are going to take a break. And we will come back to see what you're going to do with Dr. Yarrow and what the fuck is going on here. Yeah,
Cool.
what the fuck is going on here? All right, everybody, we're going to take a really quick, like maybe 7 minutes or 8 minutes just to get a bio. I think our brains need a break from combat, and we're going to come back to some fresh RP. Don't go anywhere. Give us 10 minutes. We'll be right back. welcome back to the, I guess second half is incorrect. The second part of Fallout Winter of Adam, episode 10. They have just burnt part of the USS Germination and rallied to make it all the way up to Yarrow's office, where Big Business has broken the door down and was shot with a syringer. We will pick up at that exact moment. All of you kind of see Big Business's body, like in middle sentence, just kind of freeze up as he's holding the syringer in his hand, and you hear a kind of quaint voice of this man, potentially of a I don't want to say British, but like a very crisp, clean American dialect. And he says, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here." And he keeps trying to press the button, but the siren doesn't. Like, you can see his hand like rapid tapping the red button on his desk. He says, "You better run."
Wait, is this the guy that
Yeah.
just saw the lockjaw?
No, this is the guy. This is Dr. Yarrow, and this is him. He's the guy that shot Big Business from behind his desk. He dodged behind his desk. All you can see is like his hand tapping the red button.
But Bub's point is that I
You showed him the jaw.
He hasn't looked up over the desk.
Okay.
He's worried about dying. He's not going to look to see if you're lying to him or not. He's just threatening you with what are probably empty words.
Your reinforcements aren't coming. We already dealt with them.
What do you mean, dealt with them?
They're dead.
He says,
Except the bear.
He says, adjust the voice, says, prove it.
Big Business's eyes glance down at his other hand.
You can't
where he's
really.
still holding
I
the
will
jaw.
lean over and like pull out the jaw.
You have to kind of rip it from his like locked fingers. And I imagine, do you toss it over near the desk so we can like see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just throw it over.
You kind of swing it over and it kind of clatters across the metal floor. And you hear that meep. Once again, as he realizes that is Scrapjaw's jaw. And he says, "Oh my God," as a face begins to kind of emerge from behind the desk as he peers up to see what he's dealing with. You see this man here, Dr. Yarrow. He wears a pair of glasses and a yellow suit, and he's not an unattractive man, a bit older, but his time on this boat has clearly saved him from some of the harsher realities of the wasteland, so he's not aged quite as much. And he has learned lines, those Einstein lines in his forehead, and he kind of peers up with these green goggles like over the thing to see a super mutant, and the rest of you kind of Scooby-Dooed in the doorway behind him. And he says, if that's true, that means we're free. Oh my gosh. And he kind of ducks behind the desk and you hear him digging in a drawer kind of like furiously.
Is our friend here gonna recover from whatever you've done to him?
Oh, yes, of course. It should take a couple minutes, but he seems to have a very large metabolism. He'll be fine. And he ducks below the desk again. Yeah, and slowly, like, you're going to feel back in your lips, but yeah.
All right, explain to us what happened with you and the children of Atom and the fruit.
For the first time, he stands up, and you can see he's got like a clipboard and a folder and a bunch of science shit in his hands that he's kind of holding that he's pulled out of drawers. He says, "I would be glad to," and he slaps this all down, and he says, "I swear, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It was my fault, but I didn't know. I didn't know they'd turn out like this." And he kind of points out the window, and you can see all of the mariners and farmers like splashing water on burning plants. And he looks out through the windows here, and he says, "I can't believe it's burning. My life's work, gone." Oh. And he kind of feigns over his own, like, demise of this thing, and he goes back to his notes, and he says, I can prove it to you. It wasn't my fault. And he starts searching for some, like, notebooks and things and laying stuff out. And he says, right here. See?
I'll lean in. I'm holding the shotgun, though.
Yeah, he kind of leans back. You can tell guns aren't his thing. Like, he used a syringer. He does not even own a gun. The other thing that you note is he looks well-fed, not emaciated, and he absolutely does not look like he is under the effects of the flesh fruit.
Okay.
And as you lean over, what you see are two sets of handwriting. One that is very clearly his. The majority of the notes, those are his scientific notes. And then you see kind of a set of notes that very clearly are not his handwriting. And he says it was him, the last son of Adam. When we crossed the shore, he came to us and saw that our fruit was dying. And I listened to him when he said he had a solution. He gave me all of this research on augmenting cells and biological research and mutations. And he points to all of these. You can see it. And he said he told me how to make the flesh fruit. He just didn't tell me what the outcome would be. And I didn't have much of a choice, considering the fact he said if we didn't do it, he would kill everyone on board. He offers us protection. He said we would have soldiers down the way, and all I had to do was hit the red button. I hit it.
Can we fix the addiction in these people?
Very good question. And he grabs for a name. Your name.
For me?
Yeah.
Mortimer.
Mortimer. I'd be happy to, Mortimer. Fantastic question. And you can see he kind of hits his professor stride as if he's just been waiting on an audience. For the last few weeks, I have been dead set on finding a cure, a solution. I believe that this fruit can be viable if we stop using certain fertilizers and restructure and rethink how we solute the soil and the seeds. And you can see he starts pulling new data. Most of this he's actively at. You can see all of his little scientific experiments, Bunsen burner going, things bubbling. He says the problem is I've not found that solution yet. Oh, and he kind of slaps it all down and he says, but I swear I'm trying. Things just got out of hand.
Those fruits have been threatening to bring the Commonwealth into ruin.
What do you mean?
They've been spread. Small samples so far.
I am sorry. It wasn't supposed to be like this, I swear. He said we didn't really have a choice and he'd be back for the final crop, and he looks out the window and some of the tree sets have been put out, but they're like charred black. He says it doesn't look like he's going to get that crop. What are we going to do when he returns?
Did he give a day he was going to show up?
We suspected he would be here in maybe the next few days. I don't know that it was going to be him. He said his lieutenant, some crapjaw, no, slackjaw.
Scrapjaw.
Yes, that one. And he points to the medal. He said he was supposed to show up and take the delivery away. They were taking it to only certain settlements.
Well, that problem solved. For a second, I had hoped we might run into the last son, but maybe another time.
But what happens when the food doesn't show up and then they come and then they kill us all?
Maybe we can stop them.
Stop the fires.
Yeah. And then he sees Sister Delilah. Patch maybe still on. And he says, and how do I know you aren't going to just turn us in? You're one of them, aren't you?
I'm not. No, I'm not with the last son. I am part of a different sect.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Okay. So what? You're just going to stop his entire army? I've never seen him alone, and he's not a small man. Nor is he unarmored. He wears a giant metal suit.
Where's a giant metal suit?
This is maybe the first you're hearing of this.
Yeah.
Now, you did get a little from Muse that he wore a suit, but she didn't say it was a big metal suit. He says, I am not technically a medical doctor, if you can tell, I am a science doctor, but I can tell just from seeing him that he's going a little in the head, and the radiation has done a number on his body. I don't know that he could actually survive without the suit, but don't take me on my word. I'm unsure.
Interesting.
I mean, that amount of extended time in someplace they call the Glowing Sea has to be bad for your health. No offense, he says to Sister Delilah.
That's quite all right. It's a blessing more than it is a curse, but for him, there's something else wrong there. He thinks he is the Messiah when he is not.
Yes. I have heard rumors that he's gathering his flocks, as he calls it. He said he wouldn't take anybody on board this vessel. He'd leave my community alone if we would just grow these plants for him. But things got out of hand. My people started, starving, and they were eating the fruit, and it just got worse and worse. And I locked myself in here with the determination that I was going to find a cure, which I haven't done yet, but I promise that I will.
Anything we can do to help?
He stops and thinks, like he hasn't actually considered that. He says, "Are any of you scientists?"
Damn.
Not particularly. We had one.
He says, "Well, I feel that I should be transparent with you since you've all barged into my personal space." He pulls a rug back that was behind his desk, and below it you see a trapdoor. And he says, "Early on, when we crash landed, we had no weapons, and I was afraid that we would be raided. I had my crew pick all of the fresh fruit and put it below deck." And he pulls open the hatch, and below it, you see a massive hoard of clean food. Not box shit from before the war. You're talking like fresh tacos. This is probably what they grew while they were out at sea. And he said once, they got sick, I didn't think it'd be worth wasting the food. It acts as a natural refrigerator because you can see it's under the water, probably this piece of the boat. Lots of taters. Yeah, there's taters. And he says, "So maybe I can offer you a meal?" He says, "It's going to be dark soon and you're not going to want to be out there."
Sounds good to me.
How many did you kill?
I'll hold up 2 fingers.
Is that how many you specifically killed? You killed one. There's this guy out here who's freezing to death with a broken leg, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Technically y'all killed together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yeah, we're taking stock, and it's like, okay, 2 died to gunshot wounds, 1 eaten by them, 1 crushed by big business.
You can tell every time Mortimer goes into more detail, not just about how many, but how they died, it hurts him a little. Like, this was his crew, right? He was like a captain of these people long before they ever washed on this shore. It hurts a little. And he said, "So 5. You lost 5?
Yeah, and a man overboard with a broken leg.
Ugh.
He's yelling a lot.
He appears to be screaming, yes.
And so he kind of does some number counting on his fingers, and he said, "So in total, we'll have another... Okay, so there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... there's another 12 downstairs. Well, except for the missing people." He looks at you. "It's rather complicated. My suggestion is let's just figure out a cure and then avoid going downstairs. It's scary down there."
What's downstairs?
I honestly don't even have words to call it something, though I guess you could call it a nest. Their nest.
Another big centipede thing.
A centipede thing? He kind of looks around. No, we do not have a bug problem on this farm.
Oh, nest for birds. Make nests.
For them. And he points out the window at all of the mariners, the affected mariners. It's their nest. As for the unaccounted for people, honestly, I don't know where they are. Maybe they got eaten. Maybe they're hiding. I hope they jumped overboard. And Haley looks at him, knowing that she was part of those people and jumped overboard. And she says, "I can promise you, it's not all it's cracked up to be." As you kind of look at the leg that's still in a splint, and she says, "And those people are trapped below deck in a closet and have been for weeks." And she says, "As for your little hoard," and she points to it, "the twins call you the dragon, if you didn't know. Because you have not offered any to them. They creep in once a day to steal food and share it in a closet. They're still trapped downstairs. I'm not going to stand here and just wait it out."
We should go help them. and get off the ship.
Yes.
As for your safety, I will assure that we don't put a bullet in your skull today if you find a solution. Make a viable food source. Let the Minutemen protect you, and let's pass out something helpful to the Commonwealth. And he's kind of taken aback by the sheer vigor that Haley has brought to this conversation. She's not putting up with this shit. And he says, I swear I'm trying. I'm out of ideas. I could use a fresh mind. A fresh pair of eyes on this.
How's that wound looking on Haley?
Not great. She looks real kind of sickly. It's growing in kind of like purple veining out from the bite wound. And you can tell her demeanor is off.
Oh.
She seems, hostile's not the right word. She seems curt.
Can I try to make a medicine check?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
I'll try.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Added two. Yeah, you can definitely tell the bite is affecting her. You've not done hard studies on what this bite actually does. But at quick glance, it seems to be spreading, which means if the little bit that y'all know of this flesh fruit is accurate, that it's probably spreading as a bacterial infection from the bite. You've seen like their gums are nasty and unclean. So it's an unclean bite that is going to affect her in some kind of similar way. But again, anytime something mutates, it's not that she's eating the fruit now. Now she's been bitten by somebody that eats the fruit. You don't necessarily always know an outcome. So I can't tell you that, but she looks fatigued. And you know that a person that gets too fatigued can die. They can freeze to death. There's a whole variety of things. She looks exceptionally tired, and she's carrying the arm as if it's heavy, as if she's lost a lot of the feeling in it and control of it.
Sure. I am not a scientist. I am far from a physician. But I think there's a strong chance that Mason would bring this up if everybody else is completely unawares.
There seems to be a small miscalculation going forward. I think we should ascertain the further issues regarding Haley's arm. She seems to have taken quite a vicious wound, and I believe it's affecting her.
She kind of hides the arm as if she doesn't want y'all to see, and Yaro goes, you were bitten? You can't be here. And she seems confused by this idea.
What does being bitten mean?
Well, she'll become infected. She'll, in essence, at some point, kind of become like them if you didn't die. That is, usually they eat all of you, not just part of you. But yeah, you are very infected. Actually, this is great. You can be a testing ground. I've been trying to find someone who's infected but not too infected, so I could test the cure. You're the test subject. You're the lab rat, so to say.
Big Business, assuming he's out of his stun now, will suddenly rush forward and slam this guy against the wall, not to kill him, but just like say,
I told you it would go away.
You better be careful.
I'm a scientist, and so I'm always careful. Look at me
A
wearing my
scientist,
gloves.
you've done nothing for these people.
I'm trying, I swear. And he kind of begins to cry. This man begins to cry. Like, you can tell he's genuine in the fact he has tried and failed. You're staring at a scientist that can't fix his own problem.
I kind of shove him away and
Oh God! And he kind of he pulls away from Big Business, kind of back into the corner. And he said, "If you could just give me a few hours, maybe a fresh set of eyes, or none of you are a scientist." And at this point,
Wait,
yeah, I'd say
isn't one of our Minutemen smart?
and Haley turns around and looks at their science officer,
Clive.
He kind of steps forward and he says, well, I'm not used to fancy things like this, but I can try. And Haley says, you don't have a choice, soldier. He says, yes, ma'am, and kind of drops his pack and goes over and begins looking through Yaro's notes. Yaro stays quiet as he kind of looks them over and tries to take them in.
Haley, madam, perhaps you take a seat so as to not exacerbate this infection.
Yes, she kind of takes a seat and looks at the arm, really trying to take in how bad it is. I mean, she's missing a fist-sized chunk from her arm. It's kind of getting like pussy and infected around the edges, and whatever's infecting her is growing because you can see the purple veining kind of in her arms as it grows and extends from that piece. And she's beginning to kind of breathe heavy. You can tell the weight of breath is getting harder.
Would you be okay, or at least consenting to us, removing you from taking hostile action?
She nods. She doesn't want to harm anybody. She's not interested in that. And she says one more time, Clive, you better find a fucking cure. He says, yes, ma'am, as he goes back to the notes. And he kind of begins to read pieces of it out. He's talking to Yaro directly, but he doesn't try to hide what he's saying, so you can all hear it. And he says, oh, that's cute. You called it flesh fruit. And he says he's kind of going through reading. Turns to all of you, and he says, well, Dr. Yarrow did figure out a way to grow this fruit and adapt it to freezing temperatures. I've never really seen anything like this. This is a little above my pay grade, but his more recent notes show that what he has managed to research shows this isn't a bacterial infection. Interesting. He kind of keeps reading. He says the crew that he's tested the food source on, and then he stops and he looks over. He's like, so you did test the food source on them? Yara looks guilty, as if he kind of skewed the truth. Yara says, I didn't know it was going to turn out like that. He says, well, increased metabolism, an enormous reduction in the size of the brain's frontal lobe. So the fruit increases metabolism, but shuts down functions of the brain. Let's see, increased hunger, aggression, impulse behavior. He's just kind of like reading through. Here we go. And he pulls over the last son of Adam's notes. He says, now this is truly interesting. Yaro is right. The kind of recipe was given by him. But this set of notes here show that he was doing a lot more research on mutations than just this fruit. Looks like it started from some fungus, and he reverse altered it to become a viable food source in the cold. But he did that through this extreme mutation report, and he kind of slides it over. Most of it doesn't mean anything to y'all. It's big science words and things like that, but you can see that he has been and Yaro backs up. He says, actually, that's true. He is doing research desperately on mutations, specifically on mutations that make things grow big.
Hey, Dot, question.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be able to, with understanding some of how medicine works, particularly pre-war and like cancer research and stuff like that, would Mason, with the help of Clive and Dr. Yarrow, and the access to a radiation gun, encourage them to like lower the wave to like an ionizing level?
Oh, interesting.
To remove, it kills bacteria. It might damage the skin, but it also will kill bacteria.
That's actually not a bad. How about this? Between you, Clive, and Yaro, you have to come up with a 4 success to find a cure.
4 successes.
Now,
Okay.
Clive is very good, right? And I am out of AP. You all are not. So if you wanted to give it to Clive, he could make the first roll and you could assist him, but you need a 4.
I'd like to help him. I would also. Do we, outside of Tracy's gun, do we have access to another radiation pistol?
That's your radiation source. It's only the one.
It's only the one.
I have irradiated food.
Yeah, we have a lot of radiated.
I mean,
food, but, like,
I do
an actual
have
radiation.
I do have gigapede rare material, but that probably...
Yeah, and that would be biological material from the gigapede itself, which is part of his mutation project. I'm sure y'all have kind of pieced together. But you have her radiation gun. Now you would have to mess around with it, and then it would have to be fixed back if you wanted to take it back to being a radiation gun.
Unless we were able to find something like a nuclear reactor of some sorts.
Correct. The best thing that you could do...
Or don't we have a mini nuke?
We have a mini nuke.
Mm-hmm.
So you got plenty of like whatever radioactive.
Oh, it's in my inventory.
Yeah, it's in your inventory.
Yeah.
That is going to require an explosives expert to undo it to get to the radioactive material. Unless, what if you use an explosive expert?
No.
Negative.
So why
No.
don't we start?
1 point in
Good idea,
explosives.
though.
Do we want to? Yeah, these are all good ideas. So let's see if we can actually get to 4 successes. Do you want Clive to roll for this? Do you want him to use one of your AP?
I'm okay with him
We
using
could-
multiple.
Is he better
AP.
than Dr. Yarrow?
Well, Yaro's already given you the start of the research.
Okay.
He will help
I see.
him. Does
I
that
see.
make sense? So I'm going to let Clive make the roll for the group to start.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of like I'm not really worried about the fruit as much as I'm more worried about the people undergoing this bacteria, and I don't want to speak for anybody's firearm, right? Especially if we end up breaking it, because that's going
also
to put
true.
Tracy out of it.
Yeah.
Wait, Tracy, did you just get a rifle?
It's
plasma, though.
It's a plasma gun.
Yeah, it's plasma, not. It is an energy weapon, but it is not radiation. It's
Not
plasma.
radiation. Right.
And she has a 10 millimeter, and then this new pistol.
Yeah.
How rare is a radiation gun?
It's one of the rarer things. Not everybody chooses them. Usually, it is a weapon. It's like the rifle that the Minutemen use, right? It's like Minutemen use this rifle. Children of Adam use the radiation gun. So you're only ever going to probably find one on a child of Adam.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait a minute. When we killed that guy in the train, did he have a radiation gun?
Nope. He told you he was a pacifist. Was simply there
okay.
to deliver the symbol. He was on a holy mission. Which is even more interesting because you do get this idea that there are certain followers of the Son of Adam who are soldiers, and there are some who are not.
Could we barter with a group of the children of Adam?
Potentially,
We found one on,
you do know of a group of
where the
people.
big nuke is.
Yeah,
They,
underground.
they might have some.
Hey,
if we really
and
need
isn't
'em.
there a group of lesbians that fix robots that might be able to tell you what's wrong with Mason?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
Mason
with
wasn't there for that.
Stink.
Yeah.
Mrs. like,
Yeah,
huh?
big Mrs.
Like,
might be like,
the nuns are
"Why do-
suddenly lesbians now? What is happening?
We
they-
found
yeah.
some lesbians. They
No, wait.
They actually
we
take.
can't show Mason the
Yeah,
room
you can't
though.
go
We
in
can't show.
in the
we-
workshop, but they could probably tell you if there's something wrong with him after his reboot. So
Yeah.
that is an option. You could go to them. The real question here is, let's start with: do we want him to use an AP for the group?
Yes.
Yes.
We could spend 3 to.
Yeah,
you
to
could
give
spend
him
all
the
three
extra
and give him
dice.
2. Okay, so y'all
I'm
bring
okay
it
with
down
that.
to 0
Do
for the
it.
first time in a while, but this seems like
Great.
a good.
And I'm down to assist.
Okay, so he's gonna roll it with 4 dice. He needs a 14 or lower.
And then I can click off of that to roll to assist, right?
God, this poor
Oh.
motherfucker.
Oh,
No, not-
Jesus!
He didn't roll a single success.
Pain.
Pain, so much pain. 1, 2. Yeah, he didn't roll a single success.
Statistically, that's awful and
That's-
not
yeah.
probable.
Yeah, that is a wild
that's-
improbability. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually give Yaro his 2 dice instead of just the 1 because he did actually write these notes to start with. Yaro gets 2 successes. They are his notes. Mason, you can give it a go.
How do I do? What
You're
would
gonna
you
hit
like for me?
science.
Science. Okay.
Science.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? You might still learn
Science.
something. You may just not.
And is this a
find it
role
right
that
away.
someone can assist?
Everybody can assist.
Okay.
Everybody
can I
can
use-
assist. It's one
Can I use
attack.
luck to add dice to this?
You can use luck to. I don't
have
think
the
on an
page open,
I don't
actually,
think on an assist
but-
you can add luck. Let me actually. I can tell y'all that I have a cheat sheet for this.
Oh,
basic.
here's another thing. You may spend 1 point of luck before you attempt a skill test to use luck instead of the default attribute. But
Oh no,
That
I
is
like
true.
I like
Yeah,
my
you're
current
fine.
attributes.
Yeah. Actually, if that's the case, no, his luck is not as high because he's a scientist.
My intelligence is quite high.
Yeah, use your luck attribute, and then re-roll a d20 or 3
Okay.
damage die per luck spent. So in this case,
Sure.
yeah,
I just want to reroll on it.
yeah, you could always re-roll. So go ahead and give
Here's
your
my
science.
science.
Yep.
so
Let's
we need
just
2.
See.
Oh,
Oh.
Fucking Mason did it. All right. He starts. Going
I just
through the
used my
notes.
perks to make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. This is great. Didn't you just take your first dot in science too?
It's yes. Well, I mean, I had some before. I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, but yeah.
So here's what you learn. It is not going to be the Minutemen scientist that solves this problem. What he does is he basically redirects the notes out to all of you. He reads the scientific notes without actually finding a cure. The biggest things that he notes is that the real issue here is not the mutation of the fruit, but the fertilizer required to grow it. The mutation requires fresh corpses. Now you know why they wanted dead bodies, not just for eating.
Mm-hmm.
So every tree that you saw out there has a corpse underneath it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, so if we can find a new viable fertilizer option or change, alter the way that what the seed needs to grow, we could find a viable source while allowing it to still be a fruit that grows in the winter. So Mason, between you and Yaro, and it basically comes to the point where Yaro begins bouncing ideas off of you, Mason. You toss this first thing out, radiation, back and forth. Here there are basically 4 options that the two of you think will be viable. That you're going to basically choose what you want to do here. Oh man, I forgot I wrote this. Okay. Here's your solution options. You can remove the intestines of a corpse that has been affected by the sickness, mince them into a paste with Radaway, and then dilute them in salt water and treat the plants. Like treat the soil, treat the plants. Okay? You could potentially, if somebody could get it down, have people drink it, right? That's a tree problem, not just people problem. You can actually soak the purple seeds, the original seeds, in viscera, so
Yeah.
and salt water solution for 2 hours in sub-zero temperatures, and then wait for them to sprout fresh plants and then replant them without a body. You can remove the seeds, plant them under the eyes or tongue of a corpse to cultivate a bacterial antibody that could then be distributed out to people. The other option is to wash and remove the sprouts with antibacterial soap of some kind, and then infuse the sprouts with a sterile saline solution, which can be injected into affected patients. It's a sterilized solution. So you basically have 4 viable options. You're going to want to select an option for the plants and an option for the crew.
Okay. Ooh, sheesh. What do you think, guys? I kind of like the last one.
Yeah, where you basically
we
make a
need
sterile
a,
saline solution.
What do
Yeah.
we need to do that?
He says, I read something once. It was a pie in the sky idea I had for something entirely different. But here we are. So the ship is actually suited with a proper sprinkler system, one might say, in case there is a fire. It was standard pre-war, especially on a trash freighter. It said that this stuff long ago that holy people used to make, called holy water, could be added to other regular water and it would be made holy. What if we treat the sprinkler system and rain it down on the vessel?
That could
I
work.
like it.
I like this idea.
He kind of looks to Mason. He said, so it could treat the people and the plants. And what's left of them. And he looks out the window and the fires are done now.
Theoretically, yeah, that could work. Certainly not opposed to it.
He says it's
I
definitely
also-
the less invasive option, because the other options included like taking tongues and eyes and corpses and sprouts and, you know, viscera of the
Intestines, yeah.
body and things like that. It's probably the least visceral option.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just had an idea to make the fruit going further without having the effect of what it is. Have you seen where they basically crossbreed plants, where they like make a cut into a plant and then insert a shoot? Why don't we take the seeds from the existing fruit that still remains and pop it into like a hardy vegetable, like a potato, and with its ability to survive the winter, we plant it inside of a potato, which we plant in the ground
Yeah.
or in their now fertile soil.
He says that might actually work. I had kind of planned to use one of the sprouts anyways, and we were going to plant them in bodies, but we could splice it with a tato and make this viable. It's not going to hold. He says, I have an idea, but it will take me many hours. That's not an easy process. And we'd have to regrow all of the plants. So maybe we should do both and treat what's left. And when he looks out the window again, you know, about half the plants still remain.
Well, either way we look at it, the food in the hold, despite the chill, will eventually go bad.
It will.
It was already going bad. So
He was trying to hang on
let's
to it
use
as long as possible, but yeah, you're right. He's like, no, you're right. And he begins kind of, scalpel cutting things and beginning to work on the scientific process. It will take him many, many hours, and Haley gets worse as the hours pass. Eventually, he says, I think I've done it. And he pulls kind of a saline solution into a syringe. As you see, he's now kind of soaking the sprout and the tato together, like the splice, in salt water. And he goes over to Haley, and you can see she kind of is beginning to jerk away from him. Her cognitive reasoning is going. And he says, somebody hold her down.
I'm going to look to big business because this is not a Mason job.
I think he will hold her down, and then
And she says, don't touch me, don't touch me! As she begins kind of panicking, almost like a scared animal more than anything. And as you hold her down, Big Business Yaro comes over and pumps this saline solution in her arm. And she screams like it burns almost. And she begins saying that it burns, fuck, it burns! And she begins kind of crying and weeping. And you watch as the purple veining in her arm begins to extract itself through the bite hole. The way a mosquito bite will ooze. It begins oozing out of her skin as it's pushing the nasty bacterial stuff out, and she screams through the whole process. When it's done, and this wound, this massive fist-sized bite wound, has evacuated the veining of this nasty purple sticky viscera, she goes limp and passes out. She's still breathing. Her pulse is still good.
That's normal, right? I'm not a doctor. Please, someone tell me that's normal.
He goes, I don't really know. This is the first time for me. He checks her. He says, but it does look like it works. And he starts kind of cleaning the wound a little bit to try to get that viscera off and make it a clean wound. And he will doctor her arm pretty minimally, just, solution, Band-Aid kind of a vibe. Wrap it all up so it's not open in the air. And he says, I guess... do we wait? Should I make up a larger batch? And we are going to have to go downstairs to the boiler room.
Why?
Well, because that's the only way to get the solution into the water system for the sprinkler.
Is it going to work if you don't inject it?
I guess there's only one way to find out.
All right.
He kind of looks over at the group and he says, I'm really glad all of you have weapons because the sun is starting to set. And you look out, and through the smoke that's still billowing off of the trees on the deck of the USS Germination, you can see the sun start to set. And all of the farmers that have spent the afternoon trying to put the fire out and have probably wept over the loss of the crop begin almost shuffling in a strange way, kind of like, and Mason, it's the sound. The grunting. Ooh. You heard it last night. It comes from the people on the ship. And as they step one by one down into the second floor, the actual bowels of the ship, it rings and it echoes against the metal. And you can hear them as they wail into the night. And we're
I do not like this.
And we will end right there, where we'll hopefully come back next week and y'all can fully cure the USS Germination. But you got to go below deck.
Above board, I think I can think of a way that we can get down there, but it's going to require someone like either Tracy or Bentham's character to go. That all marine vessels, especially large marine vessels, have huge HVAC systems.
Yes.
So you could just crawl through the ductbwork.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not a
we'll
bad
have to, and in fact, Haley may know somebody that is already crawling through the ductwork.
Yeah, the twins.
The twins, the
Oh.
kids. So maybe not a complete loss. I guess we'll find out next time. You may have to go find them in their tiny little storage closet. But the Germination is not lost yet. There is still hope. And we'll find out, I guess, next week when we're all back for another episode. Again, we want to thank everybody for being here and remind you that this show will continue through the month of February, and then we're going to be kicking off some more Vampire on Saturdays coming in late March and early April. We'll have a lot more information, but the best way to find out about that is our Discord. I hit the right button, right? Oh, that was the Patreon. Say this is why I need glasses. I literally can't see the buttons in front of my face. There we go. There's our Patreon. If you want to give a little bit extra and get early access to some of that vampire information, you can do so over there. If you want to check out the after shows for this season, you can do that as well through Patreon, where we talk all kinds of crazy stuff. And since I actually wrote on this campaign, I give y'all weird behind the scenes stories of like how we got here and things like that. So, yeah, good times. And for all of you that were joining us for the first time, like, super duper thank you. I hope it's because you like Fallout, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you just serendipitously stumbled into our corner of the internet today, and we are so very grateful. Yeah. So I think that's it. Anybody got an announcement or anything that they want to talk about that's coming up for them? All right. Sounds like we're all super duper busy. We will see you all over on Discord. And next week here, same Fallout time, same Fallout channel for more Winter of Adam. See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.